You want a piece of me, boy?
Nuclear launch detected.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Nation Wars 4. It's time for another match, our final quarterfinal there between Mexico and Deutschland. Are you ready?
I am ready. I'll call it Mexico. You guys always try so hard with that.
That's how you say it, right?
It probably is. I mean, I'm
Mexico.
American, so I just say everything wrong no matter what. But, like, Mexico. Anyway, pronunciations aside, yeah, this I really thought the last series was going to be the closest one of the day. And I thought this one would actually be good for Showtime, basically, to take a very solid victory. But now maybe it's like the last series of the day is actually going to be the closest one. This will be the 4-3, maybe. Major and Showtime.
Or maybe not.
Exactly. Major and Showtime, I think, are definitely the forerunners for their team here. Of Major's amazing performance throughout yesterday, but also Showtime, I guess, doing his own. I think he had an Alco, right? But this is the Mexican lineup. Cham, Major, and Jim Rising. Saying Major being the ace for this team, but Cham always, I guess, on our radar type deal. He actually looks pretty good. And Jim Rising even had a couple of really good games.
Yeah, and then Major, the ace. And we can see that from his earnings, almost $100,000 in earnings. And also like a top performer, I would say, in the past in those Nation Wars. I think he was the first or second Nation Wars in which like second one clearly, yeah, in which he had some clearly good performance, brought his team to the grand finals before finally losing to Norway, even beating France in the offline finals. Can you imagine that?
Can I imagine Mexico beating France? No way.
No, in the offline finals,
finals.
With the whole audience there cheering for France.
Yes, I actually remember Funka talking about that, and the French audience is actually nice enough to give a good round of applause to Major. But this is the German lineup: TLO, Here Marine, and Showtime. I said Showtime kind of the ace, but of course all these names super recognizable, definitely more so than the Mexican team. I mean, people know the name Jim Rising and Cham, but I think people more so know the name TLO and Here Marine and Showtime.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at those teams with having one player of each race might be an advantage, but actually it feels like for the most part, maybe Protoss is the one that hasn't been doing as well. Like obviously we've had Zest with an all kill earlier, but other than that, like most of the ace have been, for the most part, I personally feel like either Terran or Zerg. So now, obviously, Germany, they have Showtime.
Yeah.
Who's like one of the absolute best players in Europe and maybe in the world as well. Like last BlizzCon, he had a pretty good results, made it to the round of 8.
Of course,
before losing to Elaser. So looking forward to if he can play well there, because I think they're going to rely on him quite a bit.
Yeah, I think so.
I would say he's one of those guys that also maybe hasn't performed to the best of his capability in those Nation Wars so far. So it would be nice. I guess it would be a good timing, right? They're still in the tournament to start doing so and scoring some points.
Yeah, he definitely would. I think everyone, unfortunately with TLO, like whether he knows he's in an off performance or he actually feels super on fire, everyone's eyes are always on him. But I think Showtime's starting to really take all that limelight away. So Hero Marine is, of course, only like kind of part-time, super Starcraft 2 practicing. So there's always that to consider, but he looks still very strong. His mechanics are still pretty good. I mean, the German team overall, I definitely would give the win, but it's like a really question. Like, can Cham take 1 or 2 games away and then can Major sweep the rest of Germany, which I think is possible, but I'm just going to be like, does Showtime feel confident in PvT, basically? Because a lot of Protosses don't.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out soon. But first, let's go and hear from our captains. We've got the interview ready. Guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Johan and Zombie Grub. I'm joined by my good friend Funka. We've had a couple of hugs over the last few minutes, and I think I'm ready to continue the show. I have emotionally recovered. And I'm ready to hear from the 2 captains. I believe they're ready. Jim Rising and Dr. Dario himself. Wow, Jim, the energy, it's real today. What's up?
Yes! Yeah, I'm really hyped. We want to qualify.
Okay, I'm happy to see that you're in good spirits.
Yes.
I believe Dario will be joining us soon, but we can just kick things off with you. Jim, so far it's been a good run for you guys. Obviously, Major has been amazing. If you personally look at the lineup of Germany, do you have your eyes on any of the 3 players and thinking, I can do this?
Yeah, I think I can deal with TLO or Hero Marine, but I think Showtime is their stronger player. So
We'll see about that.
No, okay. I'm saying that I'm not telling you I'm gonna beat you. I think I can deal with you. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
It's a little bit better, I guess.
So yeah, we are worried about Showtime. It's like the last time versus Petit Drogo. So yeah, we are prepared for this.
All right, Jim, just another question for you. You were part of that team that did super well in Nation Wars 2. How excited are you in the fact that you could be coming back to Paris if you do win this game?
Oh, to be honest, I wanna be there again. The crow, it's amazing. I think they are the best crow from all the Starcraft scene, and yeah, I wanna see them again.
All right, good to know. TLO, any? Are you any scared about any players? I guess Major obviously is the scary player in the Mexican lineup. But do you think any of those guys, Jim Rising? Look at how hype it is. Are you any afraid of him or anybody in particular?
I don't think we are afraid, but we don't underestimate. I think it's a good team. Mexico. It's not just Major. It's not like it's just gonna be 3 wins for us and then Major twice. Every game is gonna have to be played properly, so gonna have to respect that. And I'm just hyped to play. And well, maybe I don't have to play, but hopefully I have to play. And looking forward to the match. This whole Nation War 4 has been amazing so far, I think, and it's just so cool to play in this event.
Are you ready to show some creativity today, Dario? Because so far it's been kind of a rough journey for you personally in Nation Wars. Do you think today against Mexico you're going to turn it around?
We'll see. I showed a lot of creativity on ladder today that worked out pretty well, so hopefully I can transfer it.
All right.
TLO, once again, I think you spoiled it a little bit, but you won't be going out as first. But is there a player that you anticipate has to do super well today for you to make it out against Mexico? For instance, Hero Marine, does he have to be that player, or can Showtime do it by himself?
I mean, it's tricky. I don't think we're just going to 4-0, so it's definitely going to be a team effort.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you, Dario, how familiar are you with Chem? Because I think he's a player that, even though he made it to a couple of WCS championships, a lot of the Europeans still don't know Chem that well. What do you know about Chem, and how do you rate him?
I mean, he does play some European ladder, right? Mm-hmm. At least I think so. He's a little bit cheesy, for sure, at least in my eyes. So I just gotta have to be careful. There's not, too much coming that I can't stop. But he's improving, but he's not quite there yet, I think.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'm good in terms of question.
Me too. Let's hear it, Jim. Who's going to be the first player today from Mexico?
The first player is Cham.
Okay.
And what about Germany's first player, TLO?
And that'll be Hero Marine.
Ooh, that's a fun matchup.
It is.
Did you guys anticipate that, Jim? Did you expect Hero Marine to come out first?
Kinda. We were expecting TLO to be first, but Hero Marine, it's okay, I think.
All right. And Dario, for you guys?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much according to plan.
All right. Well, good luck, guys. Give us some good games, and may the best nation win.
Good luck.
Bye.
See ya.
That's a very fun first matchup, Funka. I'm actually really interested to see how Chem goes up against one of the more well-established European Terrans. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen the best Hero Marine. That was obviously WCS Montreal, where he just had a godlike run, made it to the semifinals. This is a good opportunity for Chem to truly show what he's made of.
Yeah, if this is the Euro Marine from that tournament that we do see today, it's going to be super hard for Chem. We expect some cheese out of him. Even TLO knew that he could be a cheesy player. What does he decide to do? There's a lot of, it's really important, right? It's the most important game that they have to play yet in Nation Wars 4.
Yeah, I don't think he's that much of a one-trick pony, but maybe I'm wrong. You'll never know. All right, Todd, Zombie Grub, take it away. It's all you guys.
Thanks, guys. Chime coming out first here against Hero Marine, who had some pretty good results in the Nation Wars so far, I would say. And nice, ZVT.
Yeah, exactly. It's
No Protoss again. I see how it is.
Of course, it's how it is.
I'll have to wait for my Zest.
Yeah, well, I mean, Showtime eventually will come out, right? It's I think that's what you guys are excited for.
That was funny, actually. TLO was like, I don't think he's going to be a 4-0. It's like if I'm Hero Marine, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, have you got zero faith in me? Like, you're not supposed to say that.
No, he's not. Looks like you guys kind of actually. This is probably the closest the percentages have been like ever. Not even just for like the first showing, but actually ever. Only 10% difference, but it seems like there's more Mexican fans awake right now and actually tweeting. You guys can continue to tweet, and we'll update that depending on what you guys think will happen. Got some tweets coming in from Borsty. I'm so sorry for your loss, Satterdam. Roddy's at NW4 hopes.
That plate is so funny.
Didn't last very long. Lasted 2-3 weeks, maybe. Of course, everyone's sad. I guess that's. I'm just mostly sad the Netherlands went out like they did. You know, like I really thought that was going to be a closer match, but it's all in the past now, I guess.
4-0. Nurture was just too much. Our predictions there. So Mexico here for me and Funka, and you and Roddy went for Germany.
Yeah, I don't remember any of my predictions today. I could have sworn I was
Actually, I feel like between these two, it's very. To be honest, like I feel like any score is possible here. Like I said, you know, maybe major 4-0s, maybe Showtime 4-0s. Or actually, I mean, besides the first match, which neither of them will be playing in. Yeah, so like you can't really know. Like it's super hard to predict. I guess from the point the first match is announced, you can kind of start doing that more accurately. But even then, it's just best of one, super volatile. But here we are, game number 1 on Habitation Station. And starting in the top right-hand side of the map, playing as the Blue Zerg, it is Cham.
In the top left for Germany is the Red Terran, Hero Marine. I think he has a very good shot against Cham, but I also think Cham could show off why actually everyone keeps on talking about him, basically. It was Cham versus Marine Lord, correct? Where Cham did the all-in early?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on this map in these positions. Looks like there might be a bit of lag for Cham, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be anticipating Hero Marine to play as greedy, although it is possible. Like Hero Marine has kind of played like defensive passive TVZs before, but is he as more like is he as practiced and studied as he did against Marine Lord, or would he just knew Marine Lord does 3CC sometimes? Because Hero Marine actually is going for a 2-1-1.
For a long time, actually, Hero Marine was known for his 3 command centers and being fairly greedy.
Yeah.
I think nowadays he doesn't do it nearly as much, especially not the non-gamble version, which really used to be the case. You know, like the gasless expansion into another command center is, I think, the one that we saw him do a lot of against Protoss as well. In this case, though, he needs to be careful. Cham has shown before that he can play very aggressive. And like Roddy was saying, like Cham is a player that not everybody might be familiar with, but who's really good and these days has gotten a lot better within his own scene over in Latin America, and even in some of these tournaments, like in some of the best local players, has started stepping up his results there.
Yeah, for sure. His Overlord did see the second barracks, but honestly, without this factory going down there behind the barracks, you can kind of also tell what the build is going to be. But now he knows for sure, so he wasn't prepping for an all-in of any type anyway. And you're right, like Hero Marine used to be known for like quite a bit of greed, but I think, well, it's possible maybe it wasn't as likely as Marine Lord. Maybe the confidence wasn't as much there for Cham, because you know when Cham versus Marine Lord happened, we were still like, oh, is Marine Lord any good? Like that was before his 4-0 and then 2-0 and then unfortunate disconnect. So it's going to be a macro game for now. Cham's still sticking on Lings, no Roach Warren. And of course, just me waiting for Hero Marine's Medivacs to pop out.
I probably will want to go for a 30 momentarily. We haven't seen too many gold bases being taken. It's kind of been occasional, so I think he's going to continue that way. And Hero Marine actually checking for that here for a little bit.
Again, it's always so difficult. It's such a risky gamble to go against a Terran player. Unless you have some sick aggression early on and then continue having like really nice map presence, it's hard for the Zerg to get that gold base against Terran. I'm guessing Hero Marine will try and take his gold base against Cham, but that's still a ways off. I do think he'll go for a third base, so the possibility of a 2-base follow-up is there, especially on a smaller map. I think Hero Marine likes the third base more. He's going to be able to scout this third from Cham eventually, or maybe not.
Over at DreamHack Montreal, actually, Hero Marine had some sick TVZs. I really think that he did shine a lot in that matchup, and he really impressed me in it. So if he can play similarly here and as impressively, I think he might be able to do really well. Back then, I thought like his timings, his positioning were really good. Gonna lose an SCV there. That's nice for Cham to kind of fish for this, be able to get it. He sees the exact amount of Marines, and he's going to be able to time perfectly that dual Medivac filled with these bad boys. For when it comes soon.
That was a nice SCV scout. It saw the third, and it saw also that drones were going to the third, so you know they don't have like 16 roaches about to attack into you, or more likely like 30 lings trying to get into a good position to counterattack. Kind of an old school way to surprise someone who's going for a 2-1-1, but no, it's just going to be defensive lings around 20 to 30 with queen coverage is really enough, and then you should probably just go back into droning to not get lost in the economy game, but you still have to make sure to focus fire the Medivacs with your queens.
Yeah.
Here Marine actually forced to unload a little bit early.
And usually that's where we see Tian walking on the crease spread, but here Marine's posturing towards that third base here rather than on the upper side where there is like a lot of tumors that he could have gone and removed. So as much as he's going to be able to delay that here, in terms of sniping tumors that already were planted down, it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it's usually you want at least a couple of live creep tumors, a queen, or about 10 to 20 lings to really say that that was a really nice 2-on-1. But honestly, as long as you don't lose the first two Medivacs and 16 Marines, then you can just kind of use it as a pressure and presence, and it's not so bad either. He's going to pair up his third Medivac with a Widow Mine, and this Widow Mine can sometimes really surprise a Zerg player who tries to surround the Marines or the lings first.
Yeah, let's see if Cham reacts properly there. He's got quite a few queens. It's 6 of them right there with the 7th one injecting right now on that hatchery. Gonna go for a macro hatchery on that base. I like that a lot. Even if he was to be floating minerals or something at some point, he's gonna keep up with his production, engages into this. The Widow Mine is just right behind this.
Yeah. That was a cool almost baits by Hero Marine, but kudos to Cham to wait until he went on to creep down that ramp. You don't know exactly what's going to be up that, so that's definitely the safer way to play. His Baneliness is now done, and if he morphs just like 4 or 5 Banelings, that's like probably like the safest way you can just stay on 3 bases. Should be reaching to a 4th soon, too. I mean, he did get the macro hatchery, but I think the 4th is, especially if he feels confident, like he feels like this army is not going to do very much.
Yeah.
Coming down soon, too.
It's a very delayed third base from Hero Marine, though, so I'm not sure if Cham's able to properly... I guess, yeah, he has overlords around any potential third base, so he sees that there is none yet there. This might make him very confident. Like, all he has to do right now is make units survive. He's already on 61 drones against 47 SCVs, so the fact that Hero Marine delayed that so much, as long as Cham keeps on producing enough units not to take any damage anytime soon, he's going to be alright in this game. Starts 2-2 a little bit earlier than Hero Marine, I would assume, who should be starting his very soon.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty well timed. Cham might have been able to get a little bit faster on it. This is like really close timing now, but oh well. So the Marines are still posturing, making sure that the 4th base isn't easily taken or taken at all, actually. Cham should, especially as Surgical Hooks finishes up, feel very confident, but no, he actually takes the 4th base of the gold. Again, this is just such a dangerous thing to try and attempt, and now that Hero Marine knows it is especially going to be difficult to get that up and running.
Hero Marine staying in the location off creep at the bottom, making sure it doesn't overextend against those queens. We've seen those Medivacs die very quick at times. So you want to make sure you don't let that happen, because otherwise a lot of Marines are going to be trapped and sniped eventually.
Cham going to going for an infestation pit, so probably up to a fast hive. We'll see if he stops by infestors or even burrowed infestors, which would be pretty cool, but obviously it's a little bit different than the European Zergs we've seen in Nation Wars, where they do add on those roaches, like at least 8s or Ravagers type deal. He is just purely Ling, and I do think infestors are going to be necessary eventually, especially if his creep spread isn't that impressive, which so far it's okay, not super great.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that much gas. Like, he's been on 6, so he's going to be kind of gas starved, especially since he's kind of being forced to make a lot of Banelings right now. So just go straight into Hive, and he doesn't even have those gases on the natural. So I think he's just going to be taking them very soon, and there's going to be lots of links, some Bane straight into Ultras with the support of those queens, which can be very risky. But because Hero Marine made a lot of units at first and didn't really do much with them, and delayed his third base, I don't know if his production and some sort of 2-2 push would have enough in order to break Cham before the Ultras are there.
Yeah, that might be what Cham is thinking. I still think that Hero Marine, again, like as long as you don't lose a ton of Marines and Medivacs with your pushes and not do any damage too, it's okay. Because like if you do get that 2-2 timing before Ultras are out, which clearly is going to happen, the Hives pairing up with 2-2 in fact. Oh, nice snipes on the Banelings. I think Hero Marine's push is still, in some situations, deadly. Like again, if the creep spread is cleaned up very quickly, if the Widow Mines get at least like 2 decent shots, and the split is any good too, Cham still has to be very careful.
Oh, those Widow Mines are very scary here. One of them is going to be burrowed and actually detonates. And a lot of these Banelings, Cham might have engaged a little bit too early into this army there. As much as he cleaned up a little bit of it, he needs to regroup with the rest. He's still got good supply lead actually right now.
Yeah, this isn't, of course, all of Hero Marine's army. His 2 full medevacs are up towards the north, or almost full medevacs, I suppose. They could have gone into the main base. I think there's actually Sporklers in the main base, though. No, those are Creep Timbers. Never mind. So they could have done that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Hero Marine, he did take an engagement off of Creep, and I would say that was pretty nice for him. But right, that wasn't exactly the 2-2 kill you're looking for if they're going to be going to Ultralist. So he does have to throw down a 4th CC, as well as continue his 3-3 upgrades.
Cham is still on 4 gases. He still hasn't taken the gases on his natural, so he's focusing on Ling production and just overwhelming those Terran armies that he's having to fight. Huge run by into that 3rd base, but the counter-attack here from Hero Marine on the right-hand side is going to look quite scary as well.
This is always a very difficult situation for Terran, as they don't want to push on to Creep while being distracted. It kind of happened here. Obviously, he had the splits, but his Widow Mines aren't really getting a lot of shots off. He's going to be able to save most of his medevacs, which is the good news, but he did lose 11 SCVs, and Cham is absolutely going to be able to get to at least a couple of Ultras. But as you said, his gas cut's been pretty low. He's had to make a lot more Lings, so
and
losing
Cham,
them.
He's now behind in supply, and he's going to be super gas-starved here heading into Ultralisks because he had to get chitinous plating, adrenal glands, and he's going to have to replace a little bit of his Baneling count, I assume, to get some of these guys, because Pure Links by itself is going to be very hard to deal with this huge chunks of bio.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised to stay on 4 gases for so long. Of 2 Ultras, you usually, just as a Terran player, expect more to be on the way, so unless Yerman really wants to try his luck and stim in to snipe them, it's pretty dangerous. They won't have chitinous plating, so, well, he actually might try and snipe them.
Where is Cham going? He went to his main with his army.
Maybe he thought he saw a drop, or I'm not sure, but his queens are a little exposed here. The Banelings are already rolling in by themselves.
The queens are doing a lot of preemptive tanking there. Baneling's going to roll in there and mostly detonate on a lot of these Marauders there, so a lot of Marines are going to be left over behind this. 4 Hero Marine and Ultras are now on the way. There is one there that could be transfused quite a few times. The Suppy Ultra, always the dream.
Yeah. That was actually really nice on the Marauders. Taking all of those Banelings was quite nice for Hero Marine, but unable to really do anything more. The Queens survived a lot of transfuse. The Ultras are there, and even though they don't have plating, there's only so few Marines, which aren't even that great. And now Cham is comfortably on 4 bases, trying to get the 5th at the gold, and on his way to Aspire.
So actually, he's ahead of this army right now that's in the Medivacs. There is a lot more where that came from, though. There is a huge amount of Marines, Marauders, and Widow Mines here that he's going to get in there. He's throwing away his Ultras here.
Yeah, I don't know about this. It looks like he will be able to get the 4th base, which I did not expect. Those are Cracklings +2, so...
I don't know if it probably wasn't worth it. So much supply was lost.
Yeah, I don't think so. I can definitely see why getting the command center could be good, but maybe you could have tried to split off some Lings and save your Ultras, but... that was kind of a giveaway of 2 Ultras. There's a lot of Lings lost. Cham might still be able to hold on, even down 40 army supply, if he fights on creep and has Banelings, but that was a severe hit to his army.
Almost a 5,000 resources lost difference here between the 2. Banelings and Zerglings with 1 Ultra are going to roll in there. The Quints are going to have to put in some serious work as well, because most of these Zerglings are already gone, and there's a lot of Marines here left over. They got 3-3, remember.
Yeah, it should be focus firing, though. I think he's only doing it just now. There it is. Only 1 Liberator wasn't enough to kill any of these Ultras, and the Queens did eventually take it out, so Cham will hold on for now, and he did successfully take out a 4th base while securing a gold for his own.
Nice cleanup, but he might be overextending here, going off creep. Some of these Queens might get chased down as well. One of those dies. The gold base already up as well, and he sniped the base of Hero Marine, so the longer Cham can delay the fight, the better it might be for him if he's able to regroup and get more forces. And he's morphing in 8 Banelings here to help clean up this army here of Hero Marine.
Yeah, this is still a very even game. I do think Hero Marine, his 4th CC is almost already done. He kind of restarted it as soon as he lost his 4th, so those kudos to Hero Marine.
What did he send his main orbital to the gold or something?
Well, this is going to get cleaned up, but in regards to lifting your command centers, of course, you're going to be thinking about the long term. Actually is taking quite a while to be cleaned up, but I think Hero Marine probably should have left as soon as he saw that many Ultras.
All the Queens are gone, actually.
Yeah, the Liberators are actually doing quite a lot of work. I think they helped take out one of those Ultras. These ones might be going into their range again, and that 4th base actually dies.
Wow, there's some... Actually, this might help him. If he transfers these to the gold, he's going to get more income. But Cham cleans up the Liberators with 2 Corruptors. He's getting a few more. Did he make the Great Aspire already? He's going to take the golds.
No.
Yeah, I think he's transferring SCVs to the gold, and he's just going to bring his main orbital, or maybe the new CC that he made.
Yeah, he doesn't quite need a Greater Spire yet. Definitely taking out the Liberator counts first and foremost. So Still, this army is not bad looking. There's been a lot of blows back and forth, but in terms of just taking the orbital over to the gold base, it's definitely it definitely would have been okay. But I do think as a Terran, if you think the game's going to go on for a long time too, like having a planetary at your 4th is just such, I don't know, it's such peace of mind. And if your Marine saw he had 400 minerals, I'm like, why not go ahead and rebuild it?
I'm gonna be going for that there. Look at this, Christmas came early as the mules land.
Yeah. Cham's going to try and, I mean, he knows where the army is, or most of the army is, so he's going to try and get on top of something here, but I don't think he has a good enough army to be going off of creep.
There really isn't much. He's 3 Ultras, a couple Lings and Banelings against quite a few Modders, some Liberators, Corruptors coming in there. He's losing everything.
Yeah, this was an okay defensive army, especially if the Corruptors take out the Liberators and the Medivacs first, but to attack off of creep like that seems very... unnecessary too, because it's not like Cham is quite desperate. He still has 62 drones with a gold base as a 4th and remaking his 5th. That just seemed like a potential sacrifice of Ultras into a counter by Hero Marine, but it wasn't so terrible.
Yeah, +3 melee attacks will start. There was so much action that I think Cham probably felt he couldn't afford that one just yet, so he just went for Carapace in the first place. Going to be cleaning one of those Widow Mines. The creep spread around the top is really nice, actually.
Yeah.
He's got the whole area covered, so that gives him a lot of vision and speed as well, where Hero Marine to try and engage towards that location. I think Cham's much better off kind of waiting and sitting back now and just messing Ultras, Zerglings and Banes. He's already got enough Corruptors, in my opinion. And when he thought upgrade, if he got that, that would be a lot better as well. Because right now, Hero Marine's army is looking much scarier. 110 army supply to 70.
It's surprising considering that Cham has been on consistent income. Again, that 4th base at the gold. The Medivac's going to go down. At least save the Marauders. And now he also has another base to the south. Like, Cham does have good income. He just needs to wait a bit and get a bank.
Oh, nice. That wall is sick, actually, around the 3rd base for Hero Marine. Look at this.
That is a wall.
That is sickest wall.
Got all the holes there. I guess it's going to be... Hopefully they'll remember. Oh,
it's empty too.
Yeah, it's empty. So.
It's a bluff bunker. It's like those stickers, dog inside protecting the house. There isn't actually. It's like a small pet.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty good. But 10 SCVs go down. That's something that Hero Marine has to cry about. Again, he didn't, lift his orbital command and take it over. He's going to have actually 5 command centers if this one ends up finishing up. But now that the wall is broken down, Cham is going to invade and kill more SCVs.
And this is buying him some good time as well, because Hero Marine's coming back with everything and he can just kind of run away. But Hero Marine, I think, realizes what's happening. He wants to press forward a little bit more. Cham, effect that he was going to engage, he's going to be pulling back. That sensor tower has been a huge part of why Hero Marine reacts as well to this properly and on time, sending enough forces to defend. He lost 15 SCVs though. And Cham's actually going to get a full wrap around here on this army.
Ooh, that's not bad at all. The Marines were chomped down by the Ultras, and the other Marines taken care of by the Banelings. Corruptors are still alive, but more Marines come forward here and starting to take them out. A lot of Ultras alive, but desperately needed transfuses, and the Marauders are actually taking the last of them out.
Yeah, the gold base is getting wrecked. These Ultras are struggling by themselves, even though Hero Marine took quite a bit of time to finally snipe those guys.
That ended up being a much more even trade than I thought, considering that Cham had such good positioning, but he was down in army supply. I guess it kind of worked out evenly. He also attacked right before +3 melee was done. Maybe that could have helped that a little bit too. Hero Marine did take out that gold base of Cham, and that's pretty important, but Cham has 2 bases to the south.
Yeah, there's a couple Ultras about to come out, but they are coming out so slowly, and one by one, Hero Marine gets on top of all of these production here.
Oh, the Widow Mines.
Gets in the middle of those hatcheries, and these Ultras, they're really coming in one by one, which is ideal for Hero Marine, who's still struggling here with all of this bio and these few Widow Mines.
Yeah.
It's the big cows.
The big cows, exactly. The Corruptors really helped out when it comes to these low army situations. Oh, Hero Marine has no idea about the space? Wow. I think he assumes that base was retaken, but this one's going to be a big surprise. But
he must have some sort of idea. He just tried to go in the middle of all of these hatcheries, though, just to intercept all the Ultras that he could, which is better. Like, if he had just pulled back and let Cham remass, it would have been much tougher, I think, for him. What's resources lost at?
That's favoring Hero Marine.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hero Marine never really replaced those SCVs he lost, so being at 38, I guess it's funny, it's not that terrible. The gold base is almost mined out and his third's almost mined out, so I guess he is only on like 1 base mining, but still, it's making the supplies look so small. We're in a 20-minute game, and they're struggling to get over 100 supply. Cham has to remake a Baneling nest. I do think diving for the Greater Spire might be the winning move. They've been so focused back and forth, tug of war with these armies, not basic armies, but these armies here, that a Greater Spire might just really surprise here, Marine.
He got rid of a lot of these Liberators as well, so it's the perfect time to make these Corruptors somehow useful once again.
Yeah, like even 3 Broodlords could really just mess up here Marine's game plan.
Because he's going very Molder heavy as well
Yeah,
now
he
to try and
is.
counter the Ultras.
And if he sees the Broodlords like morphing at Cham's base, maybe he kind of goes like Super Saiyan and starts dropping everywhere and buys enough time to start floating his orbital. Maybe, actually, I guess he could there's only one base he could really float his orbital to, and it's right here. But maybe he could do that. But if he never has any indication that a Greater Spire is on the way and the Broodlord's like in his face, it might just be game over.
Because this base at the bottom left is still not taken from Hero Marine, I feel like they might be fighting for this, essentially, for the resources, especially because Cham has lost more units over the course of the game in the resources lost. So it's going to supposedly run out of minerals if they split the map before. But I feel like Cham at times, I think he might have played a little bit too aggressively, but for the most part, like, he's very well still alive in this game. It's 86 army supply to 115, but those Broodlords could be the light at the end of the tunnel here if he can get a whole bunch of them. I feel like from the time you get, say, up to 6 or 8, they become really hard to counter, especially since your Marine is not really getting much to fight these guys. Like, sure, he's got a couple of Marines, but those are going to have to worry about these Ultras and Banelings. And he's bringing some Queens. I think he's making extra Queens as well to transfuse these Ultras at the front. This is so smart.
Yeah, either the Ultras or maybe even on the Broodlords, because if Marines get under them, they can actually snipe them very quickly, but that's what the Banelings are going to protect them from, but the Transfuses are going to protect them from too. And I agree, like 8 is probably the perfect number. If you think they haven't scouted you yet, wait, bulk up 8, and then go for a killing move, either at the gold base where Hero Marine's army is, or just secure that base to the south, make sure that Hero Marine can't continue to expand.
Cham cannot take this fight too quickly. He needs to regroup with the Broodlords, make sure that they are there shooting Broodlings down at this bio. I don't know how Hero Marine will react. I guess like you have to maybe go for some Vikings. But there are Queens to transfuse these guys as well. So it's so smart by Cham to add a lot of these Queens.
That is the first reveal of the Broodlords, I do believe, and Hero Marine just kind of has to pack up and go home. This is what I'm talking about, the situation here. I mean, he's given a bit of time that wasn't exactly like on his side of the map, although habitat station is very small. Like, you pick up 1 or 2 medevacs and just buy time, or hope they don't feel confident enough to push into you, and maybe you can get enough anti-air. But I think he's still only in like 1 starport. I don't think he ever made a second one, even when he was building Liberators.
I think Hero Marine will want to use the immobility of these Broodlords because they are very slow. So he was looking to drop in the main actually right now, knowing that there might not be too many units there, but with the one Overlord at the top spotted it. So Cham's on top of his split and vision on the map. In a straight-up fight, I think Cham would be fine, even though he's got less army supply just because of the Broodlords and the transfuse capability and all of these Banelings. Like, this army is made to clean up chunks of bio. But if Hero Marine starts dropping all over the place, starts to do big doom drops, say with 8 medivacs worth of units in the main base of Cham, splitting and using the Broodlords effectively is going to be very difficult for Cham, and I think that's what Hero Marine's counting on. In the meantime, he's going to be going for Vikings. He's even getting upgrades.
Yeah, they've been at equal upgrades for quite some time. I'm glad to see that Cham is also starting to get upgrades of Carapace for his Corruptors and Broodlords. I think is a very smart move. I also, thinking on it and looking at his bank right now, Infestors brought them up a long time ago. I think here, especially as the game gets very low economy, Spellcasters are going to be the way to go. He's already got Queens. Get those Fungals in there too.
That was sick.
And
Totally worth.
Taking out Widowmines is very good. Very good. Hero Marine's army is like, it's no slouch, and he's even trying to add on Ghost here, but if Cham had really pushed maybe a little bit more aggressively with the Broodlords, he might have been able to at least deny, I feel, the south base that now Hero Marine is mining from. And maybe turn into a planetary.
Another split map.
Yeah.
GG, it's you and me.
Apparently.
Every time.
The lucky charm. I do really like the Ghosts, though. I think that if Hero Marine can get enough gas, because that's actually what he's lacking right now, I think he gets 5, 6 Ghosts. That could be a big difference maker. If he gets over 10, I think especially without Fungals, Hero Marine's army is just better, but he's not quite there yet.
All right, let's see. Hero Marine is going to steam. A couple of Infestors would have been sick against this much bio. Can you imagine the Fungals?
Yeah, especially with Burrow. And I think this has definitely been a game where it's so back and forth, it's really hard to start thinking a little bit out of the box. Like an Infestor is sometimes the last things on your mind he's trying to dive for Ultralisk and a Greater Spire.
Hero Marine's positioning is sick. He set up a big concave. He shot forward with the Vikings, basically saying, I hope you run into me. I'm going to pre-split. Make sure those Banelings don't do too much. And he's going to chase Cham away here.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing to really stop Hero Marine from chasing. Those are where the Fungals usually come in. I guess technically Banelings. I'm thinking more about the Vikings, right? Like the Vikings.
Whoever is attacking into the opponents is the one who's going to be at disadvantage positioning-wise. And positioning in these huge armies clashing usually is very, very important. Cham's also not that close to maxing out. Like he needs to get a little bit more supply out of his economy and hatcheries. He's going to bring the spores to help with the Vikings.
I mean, I really like that, but I would really love for him to also just continue getting gas and going into, again, Fungals, but also if he's going to bring forth the Spore Crawlers, maybe even a couple of Vipers to abduct, I don't know, it's always so risky against so many Vikings because you can just kill them. It is a standoff.
A Mexican standoff.
If only this was versus America, we'd start talking about walls. But it's not. It's Germany. Nice little Germany. 2 ghosts here, but that's not really a ton to change the tide of battle. And I would say, like, no one even reveal them quite yet, if possible.
I wonder, like, did Cham just gonna, or does he not think getting infestors will help there? Like,
I really think this is just one of those, like,
you
tunnel
forget
vision.
about it,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're just gonna tunnel vision into the army. You already have, right now, Cham's very far across the map. He's got a couple spots here to help with these, but there's turrets right in front of them.
That's
This is hilarious.
Very good move. This is where also, like, not only infestors could be great. Oh, EMPs on the queens can be very helpful if you can follow up with it, but
They have no energy. They're not going to be doing that much. Just attacking a little bit.
Yeah, anti-air is it's not bad, but I forget what I was going to say. He's actually going to take the fight. I'm very surprised by this, but there's no Fungals really get excited about. Banelings crash in, but the army's pretty well spread, and of course that Planetary is helping out versus the Ultras too. But is he winning the air war? It's actually Cham was winning the air war.
And if he got some spores shooting at these Vikings.
Yeah, then he actually might just win this game. In fact, I think he is. The rest of the ground army is gone. The Ultras lived through this. And the Brulots cannot be taken out. GG.
Wow. Cham with the first map win here from Mexico. And Major is going to be getting some real help there because Hero is a very strong player. And Cham just took him out here.
I really don't know why Hero Marine pushed into that, to be honest. Like, I understand for a split second you think that, like, you have this huge army, a huge concave, I guess I'm going to do okay. And he doesn't have any infestors. I mean, that actually might have been the reason he did it. It was just like, what? No infestors? Like, let's just do this. But actually, as you were talking about, the person who's the aggressor is usually going to have the worst situation, right? And technically, I don't think that there's less of a risk for Hero Marine to just sit back and do whatever and get his missile turrets and build up his ghost count than there was for Cham, who had lost more resources. But maybe they both are feeling very desperate.
I think, the concave that Hero Marine had set up, like, in a way was good, but at the same time, he was kind of blocking himself around that ramp. So let's see who comes out next for Germany, Team Germany there. Is it going to be TLO or Showtime? Next map is going to be Vanny Research Station.
Okay.
Could be either. I mean, he's up against the Zerg, right? So
yeah.
I guess TLO probably more likely.
It's just a question of, do you want to send out Showtime like your ace first? And he does, actually, yeah.
All right.
Take out Cham and a PVZ on Vanny. Okay, well, I really thought Hero Marine had that map in the bag for a good, 10, 12 minutes, maybe even a little bit more. But no, and I think that would be the last time we'll see Hero Marine, as Showtime would be the ace in the revival. I got a couple of tweets. Will history repeat itself? What?
Actually, no. So far, it's not Major carrying.
It is not. Oh, okay. I was like, what is this posture? And it's because the weight of the packages. I get it. Well. Vamos.
Gana, Mexico. Or Mexico.
Mexico.
I'm not even sure how you say it properly. Like, how would Mexicans say Mexico? And I went there as well. I should have educated myself a little bit more. That's a sick taco, bro. Hashtag MexWin. Mexican food is amazing. When I went there for Copa Intercontinental, I'm like, I'm never going to be able to eat Mexican food abroad ever again. It's so good. It's like the best.
Yeah. I think I already had this talk with Roddy, but I actually don't like Mexican food. And then he was like, you got to go to Mexico.
Yeah,
like, well,
it's so sick.
Maybe.
57% right now in favor of Mexico. Make sure to keep these tweets coming. Hashtag MexWin. Hashtag DEUWin. To let us know who you want or who you think is going to win.
Well, I guess,
a sick matchup coming up. Showtime against Zerg is always nice to see. And Cham's pretty good. Like, he showed it against France already. I think he played against Drogo
Yes, and that was the map that Drogo almost kind of like gave away.
Yeah.
I remember because you were kind of angry at him, like, "No, what are you doing?" And it was on Vani actually too, funnily enough. So hopefully Showtime doesn't show the same almost overconfidence that Drogo showed. But Cham, he had this very powerful mid-game Roach-based all-in. And we were talking about his cheesiness before the last game, but last game he didn't do any cheese at all. It was pure macro.
Yeah, and it was solid. I did think maybe he was fighting a little bit more than he needed to, but guess what? It worked, and he beat a great player in Hero Marine. So now for Showtime to come out, he's going to have to showcase the PVZ that he's known for. The one championship that Showtime, I think, impressed the most out of was when he won over in Tours, DreamHack and WCS events, in which he beat only Zergs
Wow.
on his way to the title.
A while ago.
And let's get started here on map 2, playing as the Blue Zerg. Starting at the bottom side of the map, it's Mexico's Cham.
In the top position is the red Protoss for Germany. He is Showtime. So is it pronounced Tor or Tours?
In French, Tour.
Oh, okay. So you're
English
saying
Tours.
the English way, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
You just gave up trying to educate us.
no, but like, it's the kind of thing, like, people will be like, what is he talking about? Like, what is he talking French? You know, they wouldn't understand, I think, so just do it the easy way.
The thing I've learned about taking years of French, which did not stick in my mind, by the way, is that you're better off not pronouncing like half of the word. Like you're going to be more accurate doing that than trying to pronounce every single letter.
When people ask me in English where I'm from, I don't say France. I say France, because otherwise they wouldn't get it, I think, if I say France.
Of course. Well,
remember Cham's game against T Drogo? That was a lot of Roach and Ravager, and with which basically the plan was to shoot a lot of corrosive bile.
yeah.
I kind of hope that the Protoss messes up and some of these land, and also like to have an army that's very good at fighting in an open space, which is basically the entire map other than the main and natural. So we'll see if maybe he goes for something similar. It's very hard to deal with this kind of stuff, but Showtime, he's just so good against Zerg that I wouldn't expect him to struggle as much.
Yeah. Well, Drogo, as I recall, got a very good start, I think, with an Oracle opener. So he shouldn't have been close losing the game anyway. But then he got overconfident. Like, he did stand in those corrosive biles. He pushed out for a fourth when really probably he should have just waited for it. These are all things that if Showtime bothered, studying at all, he would have seen and would have noted. But I also think that, like, Showtime, for me, has always been more of a patient player than Drogo. Drogo's a fantastic Protoss player, but sometimes he would get tilted by Zerg. Sometimes he would get overconfident. Or, he'd have to use a Warp Prism to save him at the last second. So at Showtime, I've always been a little more confident and like secure. Like if I was gonna like really pick someone that just made me like I would feel safe picking on my team, it would be Showtime. I think he's a very safe, dependable player, and he's probably going to showcase that here on Vani. We do have a Twilight Council and a Robo on the way, but the depth is going to look for maybe 1 or 2 drone kills.
Yeah, let's see if he can do much with that there. It's such a solid build, to be honest, to go for this. I've seen more and more players really make the most of it, especially when you're as great a player as Showtime, in terms of being able to micro and making the most of it, plus macroing perfectly at home. Like it's, as close as it gets to perfect. Personally, when I do these builds, sometimes I will do a lot of damage with it. And by that I mean very rarely and occasionally. And then I'll be floating like 1,500 minerals behind. I'm like, how do you do this?
You get really, 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 really good. And you go to BlizzCon. And you almost... you do beat Bjorn, actually.
But then you lose to a laser.
You lose to a laser.
PTSD.
There's the Dark Shrine. And, of course, Cham, he's probably going to have good knowledge of how to defend against this. I don't think we'll see any repeats of, like not having a Spore Crawler. I feel like that might be, like, the thing not to be talked about this Nation Wars. It's like, don't mention that name. Don't mention that game. But Spore Crawler was, in fact, already on the way. And even if their Spore Crawlers weren't done, his lair would be, not done, but at least on the way. This is always a test to see just how good the Zerg player is, not just in defending against this build, but also do they have the macro as well? Do they over-defend? Do they under-defend? It's a good test, and if Showtime's really on point, he could also just be fancy with his Warp Prism micro and maybe gets more DT kills than he should have.
Alright, let's see how much this can do there. Cham knows this is coming. Let's hope it doesn't go as bad for him as it did for Stefano.
It's a game that's shall not be named, I feel. Well, it's already Spore Crawler in the natural.
Yeah, and quite a few roaches. He's getting more. Usually you'd want to get I've asked a good Zerg, I don't remember who he was, but he told me around 10 roaches is the right amount. Zerglings don't do that much. Whereas roaches, if they're already in position on the ground against an Archons that land, they're going to do a lot of damage if it's a whole 10 of them that are shooting at the Archon Spire, going down pretty quickly behind this. So Cham is maybe a little bit more in trickster mode here in this game.
Yeah, perhaps.
Than in the previous one.
Yeah, he did go for the all-in on this map versus another Protoss, so maybe now it's not about the all-in, it's about the tricks, the tricks basically. So a Spire would certainly be tricky. I would say that, you know, you think it's been a regular game up till 6 minutes, you know, you wouldn't be thinking about looking for a Spire. PvZ, especially with this opener of Dark Shrines, has kind of been figured out for a while, and this could be a very big surprise.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Stargate opener. You can hardly follow up Dark Templar's opener with double Stargate. You wouldn't quite have the gas, so... And also a lot of people, they go into Immortals and charge kind of blind behind this, which I think is what Cham is hoping for.
Yeah.
One thing that's missing, though, is a couple at least Crypt Tumors. I guess, even though he's going Spire, I feel like I'm watching July Zerg over here. Like, not even one Crypt Tumor was dropped down.
It's like watching Brood War. Creep doesn't matter, don't worry about it. It's actually a proxy hatchery coming down. I do think that, especially if you consider Showtime watch the game versus Drogo, oh, it's going to be scouted. Oh, no. Oh, that was really nice by Cham, actually. He just shows there's already units in position, so Showtime doesn't even bother going forward, and he will miss the Spire. But anyway.
If he snipes that Prism over the dead space and his Archons die inside,
that would be amazing.
A kitten will die in ire.
Wow. To bring that up. But anyway, like this is it could be like a really awesome move. Showtime really is only anticipating a Roach follow-up. He could have really screwed up, but at least he's getting Blink, and at least the Blink Stalkers will have +1. He's going to see the first Muta. I really wish he had saved and hold on to that, especially since he had 6 more on the way just
he's going to chase it down, though. No?
It's only 2 Mutas. It's going to take a while.
I mean, there's more coming.
There is, yeah. I mean, absolutely. If he had waited, I think the Warp Prism would have continued being too aggressive and might have gotten sniped straight up, but he kind of lets it go and lets 2 Archons go, too.
And now we've got Blink halfway through done. Showtime's still getting Immortals, actually, instead of kind of, just focusing on making sure he gets enough Stalkers here to properly deal with this. He's got a few, I guess, here in position, but it's really not that many yet.
Yeah. Of course, if Cham, isn't putting all his eggs in the Muta basket, which it doesn't seem like he is, and that's all well and good, but I really think if he hid them longer, he could have gotten a lot more done. And now the Warp Prism's going to just micro, too, because Showtime is, has this mental, is the intelligence, basically, that mutas are out, and he has to be careful with it, and I don't know. I guess the follow-up Ling, Baneling, Roach attack could have been good, but it's still on Cham's side of the map. So
and there's an observer right on top of this army that's morphing the Ravager as well. So Showtime, he can exactly see the size of that army, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, this is...
He's still making probes, though. I'd be crapping my pants and making a ton of units and cannons and pylons.
Yeah, it's not like he needs that many more probes, too. Like, he's already on pretty good counts. He might just have a lot of faith in his own defense. I mean, he's got sentries with quite a bit of energy. He's got cannons even already down, and he sees that the army is still on Cham's side of the map. Now, I thought Cham waited too long against Drogo and ended up still being very, very close, so maybe just waiting for 10-20 more army supply is going to work out better, but Showtime should be scared.
The fact that he has sentries to force field, actually, against the Banelings is going to be super important.
Yeah. This is going to pair up with +1 and centrifugal hooks. The Mutas are trying to distract as much army as possible as well. And even if they don't, getting a couple of probe kills could be very nice. If they came back and killed that Warp Prism, actually that would be the best use of it. That takes away a lot of micro, as well as, well, actually it would probably just be the micro, right? I think there's enough pylons to warp in around his base. But still a nice pickoff. 16 Banelings, and speed's about to finish up.
Zombie Grub is 134 army supply to 90. And he's going to move right in there. Let's see those force fields here. They make sure no Banelings get in there safely. And so far, it's looking like a solid hold here from Showtime. He needs to dodge Corrosive Bile, though. A couple of overcharges really helped as well.
I think that was most of his force fields, though, and a couple of sentries did end up dying. If he had an immediate follow-up, he only has 4 now.
Yeah, and also, like, Showtime didn't overreact. There's still 2 overcharges available.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, he certainly still has the follow-up defense, but maybe if Cham had been, like, immediately more Banelings, it could have been a little bit scary.
I don't think you can transition, to be honest. That's why Cham's going to keep on doing this. He's got so many Ravagers that all he takes, like, he's going to have a couple chances, I would say, like, maybe 3 volleys of Corrosive Bile, where if these land, they're going to greatly reduce the size of this Protoss army and maybe blow up a huge chunk of it. And it's so hard also, like, you're all the way back inside of your base. How are you supposed to move back again to dodge these?
Yeah. Not quite deja vu here, but the 4th base maybe was a little bit too eager. He actually pushes out to take on the Ravagers, doesn't realize perhaps that all Lings are available on the right side. The Force Fields aren't stopping the Banelings, but an Archon just stopped a ton of Banelings. The Immortals, though, aren't protected, and their bears have already been used.
Getting a few flashbacks here from T. Drogo against Cham. Note to self, do not take a 4th base against Cham, unless you're maxed out.
Yeah, seems like it. Yeah, I thought, like, he canceled it, so I was like, oh, okay, so he cancels it and pulls back, but then he kind of pushed into the Ravagers, and I really think he just thought there wasn't going to be as many Lings as there was, so he's kind of just forced back to 3 bases. He didn't have to give away the army like he did, and Cham ends up taking a successful trade. He's on 4 bases, 66 drones.
If he keeps on trading like this and just out-expands Showtime might just man out 3 bases and not end up having enough. And a big problem for him has been that his Archons have been very expensive because he was making them from the Dark Shrine NDTs. So mineral-wise, they've been very, very expensive. So now he gets a Templar Archive, but he's about to be hit again by a huge army here of Cham. Overcharges being used already. There is a lot of Stalkers also that really don't do that much, I think, against this.
Yeah, there was a pretty good split of units. The Banelings didn't collide in with a ton of clumped up units, as well as getting those Archons at the last second. He should probably fight this. There's actually still a ton of Ravagers left over, and they do now have 1-1. It ends up, again, not being a bad trade. In fact, maybe if there was a Ling Flood right now, Showtime would be in a ton of trouble. But actually, the Zealots being warped in with that Warp Prism ends up being absolutely key. It kept so many reinforcements back home, and it's going to pull Cham completely back.
Yeah, that was a great haul from Showtime, who got rid of a lot of these forces across the map, in particular reducing the Ravager count greatly. Now these Zealots wreaking havoc inside of the main base of Cham. Some of those are going to be saved and picked up. And Showtime's looking to already hit on that 4th base of Cham, knowing that he's got a lot of forces himself.
This seems so dangerous, though. Like, if there were 10 emergency Banelings, and pushing in like that would have been dangerous for the Stalkers. But another Zealot warping into the natural, and Cham, despite having what is a solid army supply, just can't split his army.
He just pulls these hatcheries.
Yeah, exactly.
Sniper.
2 hatcheries go down. Cham now down to 47 drones as well. The
Spire.
main base is even as healthy.
The Protoss mine. We think alike. I saw the Spire. I saw it. I'm like, click on this.
He's going to be able to save for the Zealots too in that Warp Prism. That's too bad. Like, that's Spire. I guess he gave away the mutas at some point in the natural. That could have been very helpful killing the Warp Prism.
And all of a sudden, Showtime is the one who's going to be taking a 4th base in a second. I think he's made Cham desperate enough that Cham has to all in, but he still has to worry about these units inside of his main base. I think Cham should just attack here. There is no coming back economically, I think, for him in his game. His long distance mining from his natural and the 4th base.
It's also one of those things where, like, you got to realize you're just not going to get the Warp Prism. So sure, you come back now, but then there's another time and another time and another time because you lost your Spire and you already lost your mutas. He's going to try and expand to a gold base, which isn't a bad idea, especially if he's going to transfer his drones somewhere. But I agree. Like, I think Showtime is now securely setting up his 4th base, and is just going to get a better army.
I think during the last attack there was no sentries left, so there was no threat of force field. Maybe Cham should have just taken his time, shot corrosive bite at a lot of these pylons and taken them out one by one, because kind of rushing in there, he ended up being held, and from there Showtime has been in control of this game thanks to his prism across the map that's still being very active.
Yeah, I think a lot of the credit of this game goes to this Warp Prism. Showtime was doing a decent job holding even without it, but there's a couple of scenarios where maybe again, if the Ling Flood had been immediate after that last attack, maybe it wasn't Showtime holding. So Warp Prism definitely MVP. I think Cham, his army is way out of position. Oh, did he finally get the Warp Prism?
Yeah, finally. Yeah.
Oh, finally.
What's there's 6? How many? No, actually, that's the units lost. How many Archons are there?
Probably like 6. Yeah, 5.
5 against 11 Banelings. Okay, like Showtime is not supposed to lose this.
No, I can't see. Especially only 11 Banelings. They're not going to get enough hits here.
Overcharges available as well. Cham's going to run right in there instead of taking his time and sniping the pylons first. These overcharges will do quite a bit of damage. Force these Banelings to detonate on the pylons. And Showtime is now going to be on the chase against a massively...
It's, well, a massive Ravager army, but actually not that scary of one. The Corrosive Biles are mostly being dodged here. I don't think he cares anymore. He's going to blink in fact, on the Ravagers. On the heart of his Archons, almost got hit by Corrosive Bile, but another good split. And I think Showtime is going to even up the Nation War. GG. Showtime brings it back for Germany.
Cham with a great showing, though, I would say, especially in CVP up against somebody like Showtime, put up a pretty good fight. I did think he was in a position where maybe he could have won, but Showtime just a little too solid to fall in this matchup there.
Yeah, I actually think that perfectly sums it up. There was like that one moment where maybe if that War Prism hadn't been, distracting him and taking back his army, that could have snowballed to a victory. But Showtime is just a little too solid. So now the question is, who does Brazil send out? Or not Brazil, damn, I did it again. Who does Mexico send out?
Jim Rising or Major? Actually, it's a very hard choice. It's Whirlwind. Because I feel like usually you should save your best player for last, right? Unless you send him first. But in this case, Jim Rising will be going up against Showtime in a ZVP, which is very tricky. On Whirlwind as well. Whirlwind can be a pretty good map, I think, for Terran. I think Major will be a good choice unless next one will be Overgrowth. I think Major here might have to come out if he prefers this map over Overgrowth, but he may be fine with either.
Unless Jim Rising saw something in that game that he thinks he could have done better. Jim Rising isn't so much like a cheesy player early on, but he is a trickster. So that Spire play maybe was like, he just should have gone more Spire.
And Jim Rising comes out on Whirlwind. All right.
Well, like I said, I think maybe that Spire play was... I feel like Cham, he's not like a baby Jim Rising or anything like that, but sometimes I see like their like discussions together. Jim Rising has been known a lot longer for his Mutalist play against Protoss. Yeah. And while Cham didn't exactly like all in on the Mutas like Jim Rising would, he kind of did what a lot of other Zergs do, just make eight and then try and harass with, it still felt... like Jim Rising's influence.
I love the way Chan played this, and I think he was very impressive. But the one thing I'm disappointed about is the Mutas and the way he revealed them. I thought that was really sad. If he had been able to hide like 10 and then flew into the natural, I'm pretty sure Showtime wouldn't have been ready and taken a lot of damage. But anyway, we're going to be headed to a break, and then when we come back, it's going to be Jim Rising going up against Showtime on Whirlwind. So we'll see you right after this.
Welcome back, everybody, to the last quarterfinal of Starcraft 2 Nation War Season 4 between Mexico and Germany. Johan, the game's been pretty fun so far, I'd say.
Yeah, especially the last match.
And the first one, too. I think the TVZ on...
I mean Netherlands.
Oh. I thought you meant the last map. No, I mean, all things considered, I still think that was fun to watch. Watching King Arthur put on a clinic is something that I have to appreciate, even if I have a Dutch heart and it's bleeding.
Why do you look so small on the shot?
Because I'm too heavy for this chair. The chair sinks. Like, it can hold up the other people.
I'm heavier than you.
I really think that the Christmas gains are just pushing this chair down a little too much. They're just not ready for those triple digits of Roddy. The map that we're going to see next is going to be Whirlwind. It's going to be this man, spawning on the right bottom side, representing Mexico. He's casting quite a bit in Spanish these days as well. It's Jim Rising. Spent some time in the US as well, practicing together with Root back then.
And his opponents, representing Deutschland, it's of course the legend Showtime. The Meisterschaft. We should say it every time I feel like there is a German playing, but even though he's not actually the Meisterschaft, that's Zero Marine.
True, but Showtime has been a Meister as well.
Yeah.
Many times, actually.
He's a Meister.
That's where he all started. Even before he started to win internationally, he was already the German Meister. So obviously it's a great start to your career.
Why do we do such stupid voices when we say it?
Well, because the Germans like it. Germans really appreciate it when you throw out a little bit of German every now and then.
Really?
Yeah, you don't have to say much.
They always ignore me when I do. Maybe I'm that bad.
It's a little easier for me, I guess, an unfair advantage. I'm curious to see what we'll see out of Jim Rising over here, Johan. Jim, in general, I think is a very aggressive Zerg. But I must say, he played a great game against Drogo. I even felt at times he was close to sealing the deal, but obviously getting in a good position and winning are two completely different things. Whirlwind is not necessarily a bad map at all for Zerg. Some Protoss players say that it's alright because it's easing up to 3 bases, and a lot of the timings they hit a little bit later. But if you just look at the way that Nurture played this map, for instance, I mean, that's just terrifying to go up against something like that.
It's very, very hard. You'd have to play as close to a perfect game as you need. But guess who beat Nurture in the past? And quite convincingly, that was Showtime over in Tours when he beat him in the Grand Finals. So definitely showcased this PVZ before.
One of the sickest finals of the year, I still think. I really enjoyed watching that series, especially the first game on Orbital, the one that Nurture won. It felt like we were watching an animation trailer that was trying to show off how great of a game StarCraft 2 can truly be. It's like, yeah, but you never see games with multi-prong attacks and drops and Nidus networks at once. Well, back then, Nurture showed us that you do see it every now and then at the highest level.
Nurture Thermal was kind of like that, to be honest, today, I think. Like, very impressive games for sure.
That was a lot of fun. It's going to be a Stargate opening, just like we saw out of Harstem on this map. Harstem actually made a tweet as well about the previous game, just appreciating the skill of Showtime, saying that there are very few Protoss players out there that can be down as much as Showtime was down in that previous map, but still hold it together and in the end come out with the victory.
Showtime's defense is what he's known for, and I love that he's evolved into such a good player that he actually knows when to counter-attack and attack a lot more nowadays. Like that, actually, that counter-attack was pretty sick last game when he had the Prism in the natural and all the Zealots and then went straight for the 4th base. Like, he was like, yeah, how does it feel for once to be the one that's attacking 2 places?
And
You're going to lose both your hatcheries.
And the hold as well, like you said, he's very strong defensively, and being down 50, 60 army supply almost against all these Banes, all these corrosive vials, that's not an easy feat at all. Jim Rising as Overlord is getting awfully close towards the Stargate. Would be a great scout here for Jim, because there could be a chance that maybe he's expecting something else. He's getting an evolution chamber, which gives me the idea that maybe he wants to drop some links in the main base. Jim is definitely the type of Zerg that likes to always go for a small link drop if he can, you know, just anything to throw your opponent off.
Considering there's some adepts nearby, might be discouraged to do so here just yet. Baneling Nest going down now.
Still hasn't seen the Oracle. This is the very first time he picks up on the fact that there is an Oracle heading towards his natural. I'm not sure how many queens we're looking at. It's just a single queen, actually. Single queen, no Spore Crawler. This could get ugly quite quickly, Todd.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that this Oracle is able to pick off 4 or 5 drones. Unfortunately for Showtime, he's heading towards the base that almost had no drones. Gets the larvae.
And forces 2 spores that will be cancelled right away because the Oracle's out of energy. And behind this, we've got a Twilight Council on the way. I think Jim Rising might just go for Pneumatized Carapace and then start dropping Banelings all over the place. But he's picked a hell of a customer in Showtime who always reacts very quickly to these Baneling drops if he were to do that.
You think he would do that, though, after seeing the Phoenix? Don't you think that's a little unlikely?
Well, I mean, Phoenixes can't really be everywhere, right? Like, you can still like go around and stuff. Like, obviously, it's a little bit risky if you get caught, but then you can just still drop the Banelings.
Okay, we'll see what Jim decides to go for. Seems like
he's already got a Baneling Nest and he's going +1 melee. Like, I don't really see what else, right? Like,
just a massive ground attack. I think he's the type of Zerg that likes to swarm, play real swarmy style, you know, not necessarily go to 75 drones and try to get hive tech, but just try to crank out as many units as possible. But if you look at the production tab, Showtime is actually preparing for something like this. And this is a real Showtime classic as well, where he delays workers for a little while. He gets a Warp Prism, he actually has Resonating Glaives on the way, and he's going to be able to warp in a crazy amount of adepts. And if Jim Rising does not pick up on this, I mean, it's going to be very hard to defend with just Lings and Banes against 7 gateways in a Warp Prism.
Showtime is known as such a solid Protoss that you wouldn't expect him to throw in these crazy 3-base aggressions just because he doesn't need to do them. But that's also why he does them, but just because the opponents won't be ready for those a lot of the time. Hydra then down the wave. This hits before their Hydra discs out on the map. It feels like Jim Rising will need a crazy amount of Banelings in order to hold this.
Yep, and Jim is actually, well, he's not supply block, but he's making 4 Overlords now. There we see the first Zerglings and Banelings on the production tab, but will he have enough? Let's not forget about the Oracle still being annoying as well. Picking off a couple of these Banelings, that's a very nice little setup of this attack by Showtime. And I'm actually fearing the worst here for the Mexican Zerg player. I think he's in a lot of trouble, Todd.
Oh, this was almost going to catch some of these adepts. Nice evacuation on the 3rd base.
Oh my god, it's a massacre. Right?
Le massacre.
Almost. I mean, this is starting to look quite painful. Obviously, a couple of these adepts will fall, but once Showtime starts with something like this, he's just going to siege all these mineral lines. That's actually a couple of decent connections on the Banes, but it's not enough. There are still so many adepts. Let's not forget about the Warp Prism in the main. There is still an ability or an option for Showtime to add a few more adepts to this, and just like that, Showtime will take the lead in this nation war. Jim Rising wasn't ready, Todd.
Yeah, I think he just assumed it was going to be a standard game where Showtime doesn't really do much of an aggression. And I mean, against his target, it's very hard to see as well. He took some economic damage, and he was like, he's probably going to make probes and tech like Showtime does most of the time. But nope, it was the Christmas package here of mass adepts That warping in the main in particular, I think probably when he saw it, he was like, oh.
And also,
like, I know I'm pretty much dead. Like.
Yeah, and the great thing about this build, there are many things that I love about this build. As obviously, Major is going to be the next player. It's like you open up with the Oracle, you force out the Spore, so you slow the economy down. Then you follow it up with the Phoenix, so you deny Overlord scouting. And then you show that you're going up to 3 bases. So Jim Rising, like you said, he's assuming that this is just going to be a rather passive game. Then suddenly he walks across the map with 7 adepts on the ground, and Jim is like, oh, I really have to deal with this. And while he is focused on dealing with that, there is a massive weapon in the main base, and if you don't have a ridiculous amount of Lings and Banes ready, and you split the units properly, it's just too late. You need to be on the point against a build like that immediately, and if units are not in place,
you know how to beat this, Azurk?
Tell me.
Get an overseer. Scout the main base, see what Protoss is actually going for behind his targets. You're going to see all the gateways, and you might even, just scout for the army as well. You need to know at all times what your opponent's doing. If you can in Starcraft 2, you would have seen the amount of adepts, known that this is coming, and then made enough to defend. Because Jim Rising overdrone quite heavily this game.
Yeah, he was on 61 when the attack hit, and Showtime actually caught workers for a while, even though he was going up to 3 bases. Obviously, you need to save some minerals to throw down all these gates. I agree with you, and obviously there will be people saying like, yeah, but if you make an Overseer, it just dies to the Phoenix. Bullwind is a very large map, so there are
after
many...
5 years and 500 shots.
Yeah, and there are many awkward moments where, you can actually avoid the Phoenix because you can just take an awkward route into the main, shift-click it all the way via the left side, and it's just a single Phoenix. And often, when you see a single Phoenix as a Zerg player, it's kind of the alarm bell should already go off, It's just a single Phoenix. Is he that worried about drops, or is he trying to hide something? And more often than not, the Protoss player is trying to hide something.
And obviously, it's much more easily said when you're observer here or sitting on the casting desk, I streamed a couple ladder sessions earlier, I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna all in, and then he didn't attack, made lurkers, and I looked foolish as well because of my lack of scouting myself. So don't want to be overcritical, just trying to give some advice, I guess, to the Zerg players out there that lose to these sort of builds. Overgrowth is gonna be on next map, and Major against Showtime is finally happening. Oh man, this is going to be good.
This is going to be an amazing match. One of the best ones I guess we've seen today. This man has been absolutely on fire. Not just this Nation Wars, but in the past as well. Carried his nation towards the final in Season 2. Can he do it one more time? It's Major. Absolutely fantastic record so far for him.
And his opponents? It's once again going to be the legend himself, the Meisterschaft. It's Showtime. A lot of people, or I would say, pretty much everyone agrees, the best StarCraft nation is South Korea, right? Wouldn't it be sick if Major did well here, carried his team to the semis, offline finals, Mexico beats South Korea? Who's the best now?
Yeah, that would be sick.
Well, the best is Major. But to be honest, Cham played really well, I thought, even in the game he lost. And he got a map win this time against Hero Marine, who were very good Terran himself. So
yeah, but Hero Marine has actually defeated Major in the past in the TVT series. Obviously, that was the previous patch. But back then in Montreal, in the quarterfinals, Hero Marine took out Major. So it's very nice for Major. He doesn't have to worry about that TVT. This is going to be awesome, man. Obviously, a lot of Protoss players are having a pretty rough time right now against Terran. Showtime not too long ago looked almost invincible in this matchup. I mean, he beat Beyond, Todd. How many Protoss players out there can say they beat Beyond in an offline Premier League event? Can he show us the way one more time, as Major has also shown us that he's in tremendous shape?
I wonder actually if it comes down to the last map and Major is the last player of Mexico and Germany has to pick between Showtime, TLO or Hero Marine. Could we maybe see Hero Marine being picked, like you mentioned?
Yeah, I think it depends a little bit how this game goes. I would still say Showtime, and I think most people out there would be like, that's a no-brainer, guys, that's Showtime.
Depends on the map as well.
Yeah, and the last map would be Newkirk. I don't think it's the worst map for Protoss against Terran. It's also not the dream.
Not the best either.
No. Let's just see how this game goes, right? If Showtime just plays his standard build, doesn't fall behind, but still gets absolutely crushed, maybe then he does feel that it's better for Hero Marine to take a shot at TVT, but I think overall Showtime is the undisputed ace. This is so good, man. This guy's so good at StarCraft.
Hero Marine didn't look that great in his last game, but before that he did get an all-kill earlier on. So he's had mixed results so far in these Nation Wars.
The robotics facility is being warped in the main base of Showtime. We know that he loves his Colossus openings, and after that, he's one of the very few Protoss players that likes to get it all, right? Likes to get Storm, likes to get Disruptor, likes to get Colossus at first, and double Forge as well. And if it's needed, he'll throw down those Stargates too, and we can see a couple of Tempest. But obviously, we know that Major is not necessarily, but likes to be aggressive early on, likes to create an advantage for himself in this matchup like that. Is this going to be a Raven opening, you assume?
You will get Banshee?
No, yeah, I think I would get a Raven. I think the Ravens are very strong in certain pushes.
I mean, Major, he's also one of those guys that watches a lot of these Korean Terrans and likes to take some of their builds away.
Yeah.
Banshee, obviously, not that strong against a Protoss player as solid as Showtime. Always gets almost pretty much all the time Observers, gets Stalkers for defense in case they are Liberators, and in this case they also do well against Banshee. So the Raven is just going to build up on energy, maybe some Nathanias harassment.
That's possible as well. I mean, these other turrets are very powerful, but I think in particular for a strong two-base push with one or two tanks, if you then throw down a PDD, we know that Showtime likes to open up with his Stalkers. I mean, Stalkers are a great defensive unit. They shut down dropships and whatnot. Meanwhile, this Reaper was having a field day. I believe one probe went up.
You know, actually, Major on this map, he always does the same thing. He goes behind the natural mirror line and sieges from there. Like, I've seen him do that for years, back when that map was in a map pool. So you see the area behind Showtime's natural on the left, on the right-hand side. You can put siege tanks there to shoot at those minerals.
I like that pylon, I thought. If the tank gets too close, he can photon overcharge.
Yeah, but they can siege from away, I guess, snipe it, and that will buy a little bit of time for Showtime.
It's still something. You see Major is looking for that Observer, and he should be able to find it soon with his Raven. You know he saw
I missed it, actually.
Oh, I thought he did it. Okay, well, now, unfortunately for Showtime, it's gonna die. It always dies. Did he see the Raven? No, I assume he did. Showtime seemed to be pretty active with that Observer. So now I really wonder, what do you think is the best approach for Showtime? Because he should kind of know what he's up against right now.
Yeah.
Would you say maybe get a couple of Stalkers towards the middle of the map to buy time against a push like that?
I mean, Stalkers are supposed to be quite bad against this, but he's still going for those. I would have said Glaives, a lot of Adepts, and then maybe Colossus or something to try and rush for that Thermal Lance and delay the push. And then when you finally take the fight, you shade these Adepts in. But it's Showtime. He's just so good that it never feels like he has to do something in particular.
Man, he's being so adventurous with this Raven. It would be a very, very expensive unit to lose. And Blink is almost done, but we're still going to see one auto turret being dropped. And he's going to have to pull Workers or Photon Overcharge. Because look at the damage output. 4 Workers go down. But this Raven, I think, is in a lot of trouble.
No, he's not.
Come on, the Stalkers have Blink, Todd. I think they're going to get it.
They're so far away.
No. They run very fast.
You're free. Fly.
He can't really blink past that. Is he going to give up? No. You never give up, right? One more forward blink. He's going to be able to get a couple of shots off. Will he be able to finish off the Raven? No, he won't. Wow, that was great from Major. Not only did he deny the Nexus, he was able to take down 3 probes and somehow kept the Raven alive.
And that baited actually some of these bio to move out of position. So these Adepts going to be doing a little bit of damage. Major maybe needs to pull these guys away. 4 SCV snipe, not bad. I guess he did lose some probes earlier. The worker counts pretty even still, 48 probes to 44 SCVs. And then Colossus production will now begin. Major's timing is going to be massive there. He's got so much army supply, 48.
Yeah, the only downside is that he doesn't have that much energy on the Raven now, so I'm not sure if he has enough for a PDD. Warperism is getting awfully close towards that Widow Mine, but the Stalkers did see it with that Observer. So this is actually very nice, and I do like the way that Showtime has played it so far. I felt he bought a little bit of time, but this third base is still going to be under siege, and will Showtime be able to defend it for himself and Germany? With that Colossus out, it looks pretty promising, right? Oh. Observer.
I mean, there are so many observers there. I think 3 of them around the bases of Showtime there. He knows how to play Overgrowth, man. He's no Pig Baby, but he knows.
That legendary game where Pig Baby made 6 observers against Asia, and all of them saw that army at any given moment. There's a lot of Adepts out already. I'm surprised he didn't start Resonating Glaives. It's a pretty cheap upgrade.
Was it 7 observers?
I don't know what it was. Ooh, the Warperism is actually in a lot of trouble. Stim being used. Showtime forced to drop the Adepts. Do you think he forgot Resonating Glaives, Todd? Because he has so many Adepts already.
I think, it might be the case. Which obviously is not good, but the army of Showtime is looking scary nonetheless. Perfect split, leaving a Colossus in the main, obviously going to be very useful. Lilbo was one of the guys who did that super well against Terra, and he always split his Colossus because he knew that Terran were going to be committing a lot to the drops in the main. If you only leave gateway units, these force might be overwhelmed. Finally, Resonating Glaive starts, double Forge as well, and Showtime's defense once again delivers. He's really not taking too much damage, if any.
He makes it look so easy, right? You put a couple Stalkers in the main, you have a Colossus there, you put a Colossus at third base, and I don't really see what the fuss is about, guys. This matchup is really not that hard. Well, it is, you know.
And on one hand, it's beautiful, but at the same time, it's quite depressing because I know I'll never be able to do the same.
First Disruptor is on the way now as well, and Showtime just went up to 3 bases completely uncontested. Obviously Major is floating over that CC as well, and he soon will be enjoying a 3-base economy too, but I still like the way that this is going for Showtime. Most of the time when Showtime has an opening like this, he will come out victorious.
Ooh, a couple of Adepts here will be sent to that third base momentarily. And if they have Glaives as well, they're going to start taking out those SCVs super fast. They do not have +1, so it's still going to be 3 shots.
I almost think instead of going with 4 Adepts, you may as well go with 3, right? Because you one-shot them anyway.
Yeah, but usually, like when you have the Prism so far out already, you would drop maybe, or you would send the Prism for the natural and then shade the Adepts in the third at the same time, so that's ideally the Terran brain explodes and they lose too many SCVs.
Major is looking for those observers because he's like, your units were always in the right place. That observer is just completely flying by the Terran army. In the end, it does fall. I do think this is excellent use of that Raven as well. It seems like Major has been looking at some of these PvTs of Showtime and realizing that Showtime likes to get multiple observers out, that disrupted thought, it's lurking, it's sharking around, looking for that one juicy hit.
Yeah, this army is quite scary here from Showtime. You have to worry as Terran quite a bit about this Colossi, but also about the Disruptor. You can't stay steady here on the ground.
I mean, Showtime right now has split his army up quite a bit, right? He has to be a little bit careful. Major is going to avoid that first Purifier Nova, and he's going to siege up over here. Meanwhile, the Adepts have shaded in, but one tank is going to just take care of this. Good defense by Major as well. And obviously, at this point, there is absolutely no way Showtime can go up to 4 bases. I do think he has a probe in the right bottom side. But that would be no, that's a Marine, never mind. That would be a very risky moment. In forward blink, he's going to snipe a couple of these Liberators immediately. The Disruptor hits will connect as well as he joined most of the forces from the main in this battle. But there is still enough Terran here to push this Protoss army back.
Yeah, and a lot of forces here coming in from behind. Showtime's going to try to clean that force up. Blinks forwards and goes for the Liberators, and I think he's going to be able to do it here somehow, once again making it look easy, even though I can guarantee you that it's not.
Okay, this is a little bit risky though. These Disruptors are just sitting there, Todd. He lost one Disruptor already. No misfire there by Major. He could have just gone for the other one. There was absolutely no anti-air left, just a single Stalker. Now a few more Stalkers being warped in, and they will be able to chase down this Liberator as well. That was an interesting battle, because at first, I thought that Showtime brought all of his units. What? If that would have got a kill.
Liberator, go home.
Ooh, Dark Templars as well. I don't think there is any missile. No, there's one. Okay. Yeah, Major is actually very well prepared.
We've been doing that too much.
Good call there.
2-2 starting for both players. I don't know about the Dark Shrine there. It's not supposed to do much, but then the one time you say that, like it just kills like 40 SCVs.
It's just annoying as well and keeps Major on his toes, especially in the middle of the map. Will force him to use multiple scans. But Showtime has to be a little bit careful. DTs are not cheap units at all, and he still hasn't secured a 4th base. It's currently being warped in, but it's definitely not done yet. And as long as you don't have a 4-base economy, you don't want to be throwing away Dark Templars left and right.
Showtime is no nightmare. You see that guy who made mass DTs with Blink? GSL. So sick.
Last night?
Actually, with the time zone, I think it was before that, before yesterday.
A couple of Disruptors were looking for good hits as well, but excellent defense here by Major with the tanks, with the Liberators. He's going to push this Protoss army back for now. I like where this game is going, Todd. It's been a pretty even game. At first, I really liked the beginning for Showtime, but then I felt that Major had a couple of nice pickups with his Liberators mostly, and the Liberator count is getting quite high. There is no Stargate on the map, so it really will all come down to army positioning. And the combination of all these Stalkers, you've got to be careful stepping in these liberation zones.
Wow, Showtime has really mastered this army here of Colossus plus Disruptor with a lot of Stalkers and some Adepts. I have to say, like, he's really using the immobility of Liberators very well. While they're setting up here, he's going to blink forward and clean this up.
Oh, and the second Disruptor.
Showtime, he's doing great, and he might be able to take this.
Wow, the second Disruptor was able to get a hit off as well. Forced this Bio to run away. All these units were defending this 3rd base, but there was actually nothing happening there. So while Showtime fought with his entire army, Major, his forces were all across the map, and even though it's a little bit of an anti-timing as 2-2 finishes up right now, this is risky though, Todd. I mean, look where the Protoss army is. It's kind of sandwiched, but does Major have enough to clean it up?
Yeah, he can reinforce with the War Prism right behind this. He's gonna blink forward and clean up those Liberators, and I think Showtime has done it here. He's making this matchup looking like a piece of cake.
Yep, GG. Germany takes a 3-1 lead over Mexico after a fun game. Well, if we had any doubts on who would be the ace, it will definitely be Showtime because he made it look great as ever.
Absolutely, but might not even be needed there. It's forcing the ace from Mexico already. It's almost certainly going to be a Major. What a game here. Showtime is so sick.
Couple of funny moments early on, obviously buying a little bit of time with the Prism and stuff. As we have a couple of tweets, we can take a look at them. Hashtag NW4, hashtag MaxWin. I like how they
That's a
squeezed
real
that one
photo,
in.
right?
Obviously. I thought all the photos we've seen so far today have been real.
Kappa.
Do they have the Force? That's cute. I like it.
That's a poncho, right? Call it.
I think Yoda.
No, but the... what a sick troll. Kev, I hate you.
No, go ahead, Todd.
Didn't somebody buy one of these when we were in Mexico?
I don't know. I bought one of these little alligators, the stone, and,
What?
and the flute as well, the dragon flute. You remember? Where
Oh,
we went to
you
the-
one of those tourists that buys everything when
Yeah,
you go to
yeah.
the pyramids?
It's really funny. This guy's like, "Ah, you want to have a dragon flute? It's like $40." I was like, "40? You crazy?" He's like, "All right, 10." I was like, "Deal."
All right, this is going to be Major. I
Yeah.
remember I was very jealous. Remember the guy who bought a T-shirt at the pyramids, and he was the only like sickest looking T-shirt with like an Azteca warrior on it.
Oh yeah.
I was so rustled,
the
man.
Spanish host.
Yeah.
He's great. Looked great as
Oh
well.
man, I was so rustled.
I like my T-shirt too. It was like pyramids and Superman.
No, it was terrible.
Oh, you think everything I have is terrible, Todd, so it doesn't bother me at all. Major is going to be the player of Mexico. Obviously, that's no surprise. We kind of expected to see Major come out one more time. What do you think, Todd? Will he be able to bring it back?
Hopefully, I want to see more games. I want them to go to the 7th map, Newkirk, and it would be nice.
Big
And
Mount
Next map is gonna be
Echo.
Echo.
No,
Yeah.
All right. Before we're going to go ahead and hop into Echo, we're going to head over to a very small break. And after that, we'll be back with Major versus Showtime, round 2. Welcome back, everybody, to the Starcraft 2 Nationwide Season 4, brought to you by my favorite production crew in the world, O Gaming. And, of course, Blizzard Entertainment as well. Wouldn't be possible without them. We could potentially be looking at the last map we'll be casting here for now, before we're going to head over to a very long break till the 21st of January, when everything will be happening offline, so no time zones, no servers, no disconnects, no internet acting up.
Oh, yeah.
It will all be played offline, but hopefully not, Funka. Hopefully we have a few more games.
Yeah, I actually do believe that Major has what it takes to take at least one game against our good friend Showtime, and then from there, obviously, even we talked about it a little bit off stream, right? And Dr. Dario, TLO, the last remaining player that would be left for Germany, is not an easy feat, but also that's a win that I could see from Major. And then suddenly we got that really tense game that I anticipated, I believe you too, and we also want to see because we want to have those really, really sick games. And I can't wait. I want to see what Major has in store. I do believe he played a really great game before too.
Things started off so well for Mexico, with Chem getting the first point on the board in the opening match, but since then it's all been Germany. Can this man turn it around? A lot of Mexican fans on Twitter are cheering for him. It's Major.
In the top left, for Germany, he is the best German player of the year 2016, Showtime.
We would hand out awards. He would be the European Protoss of the Year.
Definitely.
You could make a small case for him being the Foreigner of the Year, but, you know, you can argue over that one. But he's definitely the Protoss of the Year when it comes to foreign Protosses, even though Hearthstone had a great year as well. Obviously, 2 tournament victories is nothing to scoff at.
But I mean, yeah, the scale of the tournament
Exactly.
that Showtime won, like, and the way he did it was so impressive. That finals against Nurture. I mean, this was a thing of beauty. I remember casting the first game, I was like, Nurture is gonna walk over Showtime. You remember that first game with the quadruple pronged aggression, with the Nidus and Hydralisk everywhere, and then Showtime picked it up from here. And he's a guy that can do that, and obviously seeing him performing for Germany at the moment is nothing surprising at all.
Yeah, looking back at that previous game, I still kind of like the opening for Major, don't get me wrong, and I thought there was a lot of potential in any sort of Raven push, especially since Showtime likes to get multiple observers out and he relies on Stalker Colossus. I mean, any push with 2 tanks and a Raven, if you drop PDDs, makes it so incredibly hard. There's just almost no damage output in that Protoss army at all, but he got a little funky with the Raven, maybe delayed his push a little bit further. In the end, Showtime was just a little bit too solid, but we know that he's capable of turning it around. It's going to be hard for this Reaper to hop into the main. It's going to be a very sad Reaper. It's going to be like, oh, I'm getting old. I just don't have it anymore. I can't make this jump. It's like, it's not the lags, man. It's all in your mind. Or it's that wall. But
I wish you could throw like a mine under your feet and try actually go over the gateway or under the Saganese core. Yeah, no pylons, and he has to pull the probes away. Mothership core comes in at the perfect moment, but yeah, with that wall in like this, you don't have anything near you main. The third pylon wasn't thrown down yet, and yeah, this time it's gonna be the more easy-going drop with Widowmine, so no Raven first this time.
yeah, well, he actually opened up with a Raven as with a Widowmine in the previous game, but I don't know if there is a tech lab being
I think he did like build the factory, the tech lab with the factory earlier, and then did the Widowmine.
Yeah, that makes sense. So maybe this is going to be a Widowmine drop. There's always a lot of potential, especially with the way that the pylons have been placed so far. It's obviously very good against the Reaper, but not ideal against any sort of medevac opening. Main base very exposed, the natural is pretty exposed for now, but obviously I'm expecting Showtime to add a pylon either there or on the right side of the assimilator.
Yeah, should be like you need to be safe against those things, and obviously Major has shown a lot of early game aggression. Like the 1-1-1 opening in TVP has been the only thing he's been doing in that matchup ever since the beginning of Nation Wars. So usually drops maybe the 8 First Marines and then try to go for like a double Widowmine drop or something. We will see what he aims to do, because he didn't get that much scout going.
Yeah,
so
the Reaper actually just sacrificed his life in the natural, but I don't think a Photon Overcharge was used. I don't know what it died to, but I assume it just died to the Adept. I mean, pylons still have no kill counter, right? Nah, the Adept killed it. Okay, so he has plenty of energy, and he also has a pylon in a good position now, but he doesn't know about this drop yet. One mine, that's very funny, still a little light coming out of the front of the mine.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. And yeah, it's pretty cute. Like on the highest settings, actually, Starcraft looks so beautiful. Yeah. I love this game for this too. Right. That's a good scout with that medevac. We'll drop the mine first. He needs to burrow it fast. Does the Reaper have the DPS to kill it? No. He will try to unburrow it again. Scan gets the observer maybe, but the mine is already gone.
He's misfiring quite a bit. Whoa. He does get it in the end, but you can see he was shooting at the assimilator first, the left one, then the right one, and now this medevac is incredibly low in HP. Stalkers are wishing they could have extended thermal lens. It's like throw a rock.
I can't believe that's one of the first time that I've seen a player actually having troubles because of that observer being on top of the assimilator. That was kind of cool to see. I don't know if Showtime did it on purpose, like placing this observer like this, but he definitely lost a lot of time thanks to this, and I guess this Medivac being this slow is also connected to that micro mistake.
You've seen Private Ryan, right? Saving Private. Well, we're about to witness the Terran edition of it.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna need some serious help to get that medevac behind enemy lines and back to safety.
I wish it happens. Like I hope we don't see the graves of them, you know?
It's gonna be a serious operation, man. Like they're gonna have to go for some multi-pronged distraction. I really love the way that Kalazur pulled it off yesterday. I thought it was a super cool moment when his 2 medevacs were trapped against Beyond and Newkirk. I was watching it live. I was like, oh my god, this Widowmine will not connect. It was a cute idea. I always hate it when Terran players just randomly put these mines across the map, because I don't normally look at where are my stalkers. You know, you just kind of right-click them, and once they're close to enemy forces, that's when you start paying attention. You're like, ah, mines! But Showtime is just too good to fall for stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a little bit too good. Like even in the Overgrowth game, like the way he handled the Widowmine on the bottom Zalnaga was really, really cool to see. Like he saw the bump in the
small
texture.
things, but it really adds up, you know. Like 2 or 3 stalkers can really make the difference, because that's often all you have left to deal with that final Liberator, or you just finish them off a little bit quicker. So far, Major actually having a pretty rough opening. There's no other way to put it. He really didn't get much done with the drop. His 1 medevac is kind of trapped. This missile turret is almost done, but just before it finishes up, these adepts show up, and that's just annoying. Is he going to waste the Raven energy here? I mean, waste is maybe a
because
big...
the bio is not coming back.
Wasting is maybe a big word, but at the same time, losing all this... he lost a lot of mining time there.
Yeah,
that was
he
not
did.
a very clean defense.
Yeah, that wasn't a very clean defense because he just used the Raven to defend in the first place, and then the bio just came in. So 4 CVs in the end, and quite a bit of mining time. As you said, that third CC will get dropped down in a few seconds, and that first push from Major will happen against one Colossus, I believe, or is this the first one?
It's probably the second one that's on the way. There's one out already. But this time, Resonating Glaives, I think it started a little bit faster as well. I mean, there's always some potential in this push. The Observer does fall, so that is very nice.
The Medivac died on the opposite side, but that's no use.
Wow.
That tank, that was those two tanks, to be honest, actually.
Wow, look at that one sentry. How is it alive? How is it alive?
I've seen my life
1
going
HP.
through my eyes.
Good old region.
Yeah. And a Raven with about 110 energy or something, 120. We'll probably have to use PDD. The Resonating Glaives are not done yet, but that's a lot of adepts.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of adepts, and I think it's going to be very hard for Major. Showtime realized like that is a lot of adepts, so he's just going to jump on top of these tanks. He's going to clean this up. There is a drop heading towards the natural, and this drop really needs to do some damage.
Yeah, you were mentioning a sick distraction. That was kind of cool seeing that fight's about to happen while the two Medivacs were boosting into the main. The natural, sorry, but it's not connecting with anything, and now the interception from Showtime. The German player just too good for any
Observer?
Any kind of multitask attempts from Major. This is quite beautiful to see.
Well, we say that he is a little bit out of position though, Fonka, so this time maybe Major will be able to get something done. He could pick up these units as well. Are there any Starks left in the main? They're already heading towards the right direction. Widowmine dropping the natural could be a very nice move. It's so... Oh, this is going to be a nice... No.
Oh, this was so close from being the worst possible. When you micro a little bit too late, that's when things get dicey, right? And it was really close from connecting. And I like it that Major, reactivates that lone Medivac on the natural, does it like super well while he tries to deal damage to the third. But once again, Showtime just too good.
It's a really high-level game so far. I love it. You can see Major absolutely, almost desperately looking for openings, but Showtime very good in shutting it down, but at the same time, defending all the time is never for free either. You pull workers, sometimes he stopped pro production for a split second. So if you take a look at the economy of this game, 54 against 53 workers, that's in general something that Terran is very happy with. But obviously Major is not happy with the fact that he's never been truly able to endanger Showtime. He's never been able to pick off very expensive units. If you take a look at the units that have been lost so far, you can see a couple of tanks have fallen down, like 2 tanks. For what? It's just adepts, and adepts are not the most expensive units, and even 6 mines and 2 medevacs. These are all units that do really add up, and they're not cheap. Well, Showtime has mostly lost pretty cheap units.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with this statement right here. And once again, Prism will go on the opposite side of the map, try to deal damage, while Major is just walking through the map, and that adept will confirm that Major is on the warpath here, and this Prism should go and activates itself in the main, and that's really tough to handle because those units, they won't die easily. If you get Marines, they will get shredded. You need to actually defend this properly.
So Major is going to be happy with just getting a cancel or denying a fort base there, and he's just going to go home and clean up all these adepts. If they would have fought, I really wonder how that fight would have gone, because obviously this means that Showtime has like 18 army supply on the other side of the map that wouldn't do anything in the fight. Obviously at the same time they'd be cleaning up the base, especially if a couple of zealots would have been wiped in as well. Adepts not very good against add-ons, they're kind of, they're great against light units, not very good against buildings.
Prism just died.
Yeah, but this is still a great drop because it bought a lot of time for Showtime.
It's about as much time as you can buy with a single Prism. The army turned around and went onto the defense. Now that adept is going to get shut down in the natural, but the positioning on the map is now Showtime's.
But the army advantage is now in favor of Major. This is going to be a very fun fight. There's a lot of Stalkers, but at the same time there's a couple of Vikings in the mix already as well. Once again, the Raven is still alive, so he's able to drop a couple of PDDs, and that would actually be massive in trying to keep your Vikings alive to deal with these Colossus.
Okay, Major once again going for a little bit of harassment, just a split Liberator to the left side, and will have to defend. Well, Showtime is doing this because he just wants to defend, like in terms of positioning, he wants to defend that newly built 4th Nexus that's about to finish, I believe. 1-1 just finished for Protoss, so equalizing those upgrades. Actually, did Major start 2-2?
Not sure if he did.
Yes, yeah, he just did.
It's on the way. maybe this Liberator could find an opening. Not exactly sure where the Mothership Core currently is. There are pylons in good positioning, so let's see if Showtime reacts almost immediately.
And the Mothership Core is on the right side. He will pull the probe, and the Mothership Core will come with the vision and a photon of a charge. That should be okay. That was an attempt of a Doom drop, right? To the top. How many medivacs?
That looks like a pretty big army on the right top side. It's just 2 medivacs, but Showtime is looking for it. The forward blink should be able to shut down at least one. Does not get the second one. Dark Shrine finished up during all of this. And this could be a very big moment. Look at these Colossus a little bit exposed as the Stalkers were out of position.
Yeah, really nice positioning from Major, actually. But once again, Showtime will blink right away on top of those Liberators and try to get the damage done. But he was pushed out super hard this time.
The PDDs, man, doing God's work there. And there's a drop in the back of the natural of Showtime as well. It's going to be able to pick off a couple of probes. Incredibly well done there by Major. He used these units in the right top side, pulled the Stalkers out of position, and that is what allowed him to get such a good position on the fort base. Man, some really high level plays. Major is really utilizing the mobility of his army to its fullest potential.
Major plays the sexiest kind of Terran to me, like in CVP.
There's a lot of things that he does that you don't directly see because he's not necessarily in a straight up fight and nothing is dying, but it just all allows him to create a small advantage. It's really beautiful.
But even the double medivac with the slight micro mistake, because he shouldn't have lost, the second medivac was done to get that army out of position. I believe those disruptors will not connect. 4 Liberators will be set up, and if he gets to build that planetary fortress, I'm liking more and more Major's position. 2-2 is about to finish.
And you shouldn't forget, by the way, the Raven did so much that previous fight, because that forward blink, normally that's a great forward blink. Now he got one Liberator and the other one stayed alive, and then the Liberation Zones, obviously they push out a ridiculous amount of damage. Somehow this missile turret, I wouldn't say is still alive, but will get picked off by this disruptor.
Caster's Curse. Alright, the positioning from Showtime still decent onto the map. Should be able to threaten a little bit. Showtime is just too good with mines, I can't believe. Major.
Somehow, what is this random Marauder doing there, denying this probe from warping in the fort? This army has been stimming a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a massive army and it's a very intimidating army, but look at that medevac. I hope it's getting paid OT. There's never much love when we go OT, Funka.
Now about to get 4 medivacs. He realizes that he needs full HP on this army before fighting. Here, just taking care of a lone hallucinated Phoenix, I believe. So a little bit of work goes on to Showtime to get a little bit of information going, because how many observers does he have now? Yeah, that's right. 0 observer. He sees nothing. That's the moment you see Protoss player throwing down those hallucinated Phoenixes. He doesn't know about his army coming up, and that's a good position already for Major, I believe.
Yeah, I almost say it's better to cancel this base. I really don't think if he can defend it. He's going to try though, but look at these Liberators already getting a couple of shots off. One PDD does get dropped and actually prevented one unit from falling. I forgot what it was. It's too many air units. It's a very complex army that Major is working with.
Super complex,
this next is
super micro intensive. He will go for the cancel on that fourth base, but Showtime has had enough. He wants to go from the side and will counter-attack on that planetary fortress.
Colossus.
Lone Colossus will get picked off. This gives me back memories from Maru. He will get the last hit with a Marine and goes back. Yeah, Showtime's not achieving anything here and has to go back without a fourth base.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of money, and Storm is about to finish up. Obviously, you don't want to fight before Storm. These Adepts should be able to do some serious damage here. I'm not sure about these engagements, as all these Liberators are already sieging up, and Showtime realizes as well that it's better to back off, especially because he's killing so many SCVs. Look at this, 19 SCVs have just gone down. The War Prism did get shut down by those 2 Vikings, but at least this wasn't for nothing.
Okay.
Oh,
if Major actually
double prism
manages to not lose any more SCVs, I believe 45, like he's building more, but 48 SCV is decent at this moment of the game. Let's see, those Liberators sieging up. Those Stalkers, they have to go back, but they're taking so many shots for free. Those Vikings not able to destroy that Colossus.
Man, it felt like Major was taking control of this game, but the last few minutes have gone incredibly well for Showtime as he gets a massive connection.
And now the Liberator are not sieging up, they're sieging right on top of those Stalkers, and they will take that gift. What here? This is so for free, and that planetary fortress will go down eventually. Oh, he needs to storm those SCVs though, and those Liberators, he messed up quite bad on this one. Showtime outplaying him tactically in terms of positioning. That was just beautiful from Showtime. Just playing with Major for the last couple of minutes, as you said.
Wow, that one Warp Prism, I feel like it turned everything around. A lot of stims being used over here as well. That one Disruptor will get picked off, but there is Disruptors and Storm and Colossus in the mix as well. Guardian Shield is not activated, but does it matter? I mean, Showtime still has to be a little bit careful, but look at the HP on these Terran forces. It's almost non-existent.
Yeah, the Medivacs are actually working their ass off to get those units back in full health, but this is so hard. At the same time, Major needs to scan. He wants to know if the 4th base is here, and when he does, and he sees that the Nexus is done, this is not something that he wanted to see. In terms of army supply, 81 to 83, this is still a really close game, but taking consideration all those Medivacs that are not achieving anything right now.
That looked like a bad horror movie. Tried to run away, but there is a wall. Force fields being dropped. Planetary Fortress taking quite a bit of damage. Can the SCV save it? No, Major doesn't even want to save it.
He has no resources to defend. He has no resources to repair this. And now he needs that bottom left base that hasn't been scouted yet. He doesn't want to reveal it. And he needs to drop a lot of mules. But of course, Showtime wants to know. And he finds it instantly. This is so terrible for Major.
Yep, and with that 4th base running as well, Showtime now thinking, all right, let's drop a Stargate, you know, just in case this game somehow still goes wrong. But when it comes to the army supplies, like you said, it's still a pretty close game. It really comes down to engagements. Obviously, Showtime having +3 is going to help him a little bit. Liberator got 5 kills, actually denying a little bit of mining time. Wow, multiple Liberator.
Yeah, at the moment, Showtime not mining that much. Can we take a look at the currency income? Just for a quick seconds, yeah, both players are actually super broke. Getting some gas going for Showtime, which is good. He's going to be able to produce some Templars. Obviously, the natural has been lifted. He needs money going his way super fast. So getting another 4th base, but that's not a Planetary Fortress like it used to be.
But these Liberators did buy him a lot of time. It really felt for a split second that Major was on the verge of dying, but now he kind of got some new life because of these Liberators, bought some time. The main is obviously very exposed. The Mothership Core is somewhere in the natural. One Phoenix is going to help dealing with these Liberators. Advanced Ballistics finished up, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Super cool. That's also really nice from Major. Like in the middle of this, going for that counterattack with Liberators that, as you said, really bought him so much time. And now that drop, there's only 2 Stalkers here. That's not going to be enough to take care of those 3 Marauders and 2 Marines. Keep in mind, this is 3-3 against 3-2 in favor of Terran.
What's happening in this game? It felt like Major was going to win, and suddenly it felt Showtime was going to win. But now I'm starting to like Major's positioning a little bit again, as he has created an army supply advantage after lifting the natural. His army is still quite low on HP everywhere, and all the Medivacs are out of energy. This Mothership Core just gets picked off.
Amazing here for Major. Not going to have to bother with
look at Liberator.
Yeah, Liberator just doing his thing and killing Stalkers left and right. And now another drop for Marauders that this time will be able to pick up the Nexus.
Showtime's had enough.
Counterattacks.
But he can't. I mean, there's too many Liberators. He just can't stop in. He can maybe go through this cooling tower. But even if he takes out that base, that's not the most important base at the moment. Got to be careful with these High Templars. They're a little bit slow. Can the Liberators get some good hits off? Yes, one. He gets both.
He gets 2 Templars. There's 1 remaining with full energy. But that was so bad for Showtime. And this looks like the last nade in the coffin. Major. What a performance by the Mexican Terran. He was down and he was, first of all, he was handling this game so well. And like,
hats off. I tipped my fedora if we had a fedora. That was amazing to watch.
Hats off, Major. This is so sexy. I love it. But he was doing so well in this game. And then, positionally, Showtime created something great. That was this fight, I believe. Disruptor shot. And then he messes up his Liberator micro. So he loses all of them. Loses the 4th base. But at the same time, I believe that he will be splitting.
No, he didn't lose the 4th base here.
Yeah, he lost it a little bit later. I agree that changed quite a bit too.
Yeah, I actually think if you drop a couple of storms, look at the SCVs, they're asking for it. Shower me in your storms, baby. But it didn't happen. And Major obviously still being annoying with his forces, you know, like just juking back and forth, not necessarily eager to fight, but still being like, hey, if you focus too much on the PF, my units will come in and fight you. Fantastic game to watch, really fun.
Fantastic game to watch, and as you said, like the Liberators on the 3rd and 4th, like made it so good. good. For Major, he was not doing well at all. He ate a massive disruptor shot, eventually lost his fourth, took a huge storm in the face, was able to hold on because the Liberators were here. But the Liberators were not only defending him, they were also shutting down the entire economy for Showtime. And that's the only thing that kept Major in this game.
Yeah, I absolutely love this game. This is a game that I would definitely watch again. Just like we said, early game, Major made so many cool positional moves, you know, just to gain an advantage and getting his army in the right position. Often, like, I love when players just, you know, at least make an attempt to create something when they look for opportunities. Whether get shut down or not, that doesn't matter because you keep your opponent on edge. And even though the first things were not necessarily working out for Major, then eventually suddenly it was with the drop and with another drop. And then later on, you know, using those Liberators to buy some time immediately within a split second, floating over the natural as well. I think that's a key moment. If he's not mining up that base, I still think he's super dead. Like, he almost had nothing going for himself. Lost all the expensive units and stuff.
Such a close game, and Showtime, like, hats off to him too, because of course, and
the Warp Prism that turned everything around.
I say it all the time, but to get a great game, you also need both players to be playing at a tremendous level, and that was definitely what happened in this game. And he played super well considering how bad of a situation he was in by just moving around onto this map. And as I mentioned, he didn't have any observer. He was taking risks constantly by being on that position. Finally, it paid off.
Yeah, but that also is obviously, once again, a compliment to Major. He scanned, killed the majority of the observers, and in the fight, having a Raven as well. Like, the Raven is such a big unit. I remember, you know, all the way back in Wings of Liberty, a couple of Terrans saying, like, woohoo, congratulations, we got the most useless unit ever.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, it went through phases where it was good, wasn't good, was overpowered, was useless. But just the ability to always be able to pick off the observers in the fights. I mean, once again, if there are a couple of Vikings or Liberators in the mix as well, the observers will almost get hit instantly, you know, splash damage and stuff as well. Ravens are so good. That one PDD, I think, near the 4 changed that fight completely. Awesome game.
It's interesting to me that Major has always been quite of a Raven fan, because I've got memories of Nation Wars 2 when he actually 4-0'd France. He played against Lilbo.
Memories or trauma?
Trauma, but now I can work with it, so I guess it would be.
You gave it a place.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm actually rooting a little bit for Major, so because I want him to you know, give us some more good games. And he played a game against Limbo. I can't remember the map obviously, but it was with the pocket expansion, pocket natural, and Major went for a Raven build and went for a Doom drop towards the natural, and obviously it was
Nimbus or
maybe Nimbus. Yeah, as you said. Yeah, it was Nimbus definitely. And obviously lots of Protoss players were holding some Stalkers there, and even some Cannons, and Lilbo had both. But there was a Raven, he dropped 2 PDDs and Doom drop on top of the army. It was such a sick game. So seeing him like going through with these units, great.
Look at this. Twitter universe out there still believing in the comeback of El Juanito. I say 70% of the people out there think Mexico will win. They're still down, and let's not get ahead of ourselves. A lot of people will be like, oh man, it's going to be sick to see Major and Showtime one more time. Yes, that is sick, but never count out Dr. Dario. I think TLO, throughout his career, if there is one thing we can always say about him, is that he often, and I don't mean often in a bad way, but he has definitely lost quite a few games to people that we thought, like, man, I can't believe Dario just lost to him. But at the same time, TLO is always capable of stepping up at the right moment and taking out players you don't expect him to take out.
Exactly.
And this is like one of these moments where I think that Dario can truly strive. Forget about those losses against Zhuge Liang and whatsoever, but focus on this one. Perhaps he can do it.
Perhaps he can take down that man for Mexico in the bottom left. He is the blue Terran. Just played an amazing game against Showtime and makes it happen for Mexico. He is Major.
And on the right top side of Daybreak, the man that's representing Deutschland. Loves Berlin, loves his country. Has some lows, but also has some very high highs. It's TLO.
And also I want to mention that if we get that seventh game, I should say, well, Kevin, our observer, will probably lose it. And I find it pretty funny, as he is German. So, you know, everybody gets, you know, a little bit of excitement over their country.
Yeah, it's cool to have a small emotional attachment, you know. There are some people are like, oh, don't make fun of Roddy, that's not nice. It's like, it's okay, you know, I can have it. It's at the end of the day, it's a competition, it's a game, and as fun as it is, like if you want to celebrate when they win, like you've won, then you also have to embrace defeat and acknowledge it. So I can definitely move past it. I would have loved to see the Netherlands in Paris, don't get me wrong, as I think Utermo, Heistem, Optimus, all great guys. Haven't seen Optimus a lot in my life, but I've only heard good things, and he seems like a fun dude. So I would have really loved to see those guys there, but I mean, how can you not love the Polish lineup?
He's wunderbar, apparently. Optimus is a wunderbar kid.
Talking about Wunder, we have to acknowledge.
The Wunderwunsch.
The Wunderwunsch, spawning on the right top side. Oh yeah, Dr. Dario.
Oh, ach yeah. I beg to differ. I think you're wrong.
Dario would have already agreed with us 3 times in this game.
Yeah, maybe. Or disagreed, you mean? Yeah?
Yeah.
I thought you said agreed.
And agreed to disagree. Like he would have done that too.
That's something that Dario does quite a bit indeed. Major will go for that factory play just on top of an overload. You see it, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna go for those Hellions anyways. Probably should build a Marine right there.
Let's talk about Major's TVZ, because we saw some sick things out of him already. I mean, the other day he busted out the Sky Terran. I mean, that truly excites me so much as a Protoss player. I just love watching it. Those super fast Banshees flying all over the place. A lot of Vikings and Liberators as well. It's super cool to watch, and obviously there's a lot of mobility on the ground with Hellions, because all those units are so gas intense that you have those extra minerals. Would be really fun to see, but most of the time when I think of Major TVZ, I think Hellions, Cloak Banshee opening.
Exactly, but this time not gonna go for the tech lab. Oh, get scouted. That's a little bit bad. Like, that Marine should have gone for that overload. Maybe TLO just pulled it and the perfect timing. That overload wasn't even bruised, and now he sees that something is coming out of that starport. It doesn't obviously mean that it's a medevac.
Yeah, could be a Viking.
You can anticipate a Viking or even a Liberator. But does he get to scout what's coming out of it? It's gonna be so close. 15 HP, 9.
No.
Oh my god, that was so close!
It's almost sad. 9, says the German girl.
9. The Raven will follow up. It's not going to be a late Banshee, but a Raven. He loves his Ravens, and considering the damage that auto turret deals to any worker, and the fact that Zerg will not have any reliable anti-air for bits, I guess the Raven always makes sense.
Good scouting here though by TLO. Should be able to get the wraparound on these Hellions immediately, and this is very nice. This all looks like, this doesn't mean that much. If those 4 Hellions just get dropped, whoa, what? Did you see that? Flames were coming out of space. Medivacs are shooting fire. Call David Kim.
Finally, Medivacs were able to do something more and defend themselves. No, that would be completely.
If
broken.
Medivacs would shoot fire as well, I'm done. Hearthstone career it is.
When you use the Ignite Afterburner, they actually deal like AoE damage like a Hellion from their back. Yes, I'm ready.
Still, excellent defense by TLO.
It is.
He's picked off 2 Hellions, really hasn't lost anything yet. Obviously, defending against the Ravens is going to be a little bit more tricky. Somewhere out there right now, someone should ping Nathanias. I know that he already started this stream, as he always does around this time of the day, but Nate loves his Raven arrest. You gotta pull workers almost immediately, and I hope TLO knows that. Well, he pulls him a little bit later, still ends up losing 2 drones. Could have been worse.
We've seen auto turrets gonna go like about like 6 kills, I believe, ever since the beginning of this nation war. So I guess 2 is not that bad, and that Queen was already in position. It looks like he was anticipating it quite a bit. He should have pulled the drones, obviously, if he didn't want to lose anything. But
kudos to Dario so far. Excellent start, as he's going to drone up a little bit further. This is going to put him almost 20 workers ahead. That's crazy. Obviously, Major is relying on the next wave to do a little more damage as well, and he's already gearing up for a pretty powerful push. I think it's important. Oh man, I think that Dario is going to be forced to fight with slow Banes, and fighting with slow Banelings against somebody with the control of Major, that's always going to be hard. A little bit of creep spread could buy him a lot of time, and in general he has excellent creep spread. Great minimap awareness so far by Dario too.
Dario always has like those Zerglings in position. Will lose 2 drones in the end, but I'd say rather defend against this turret with your Zerglings instead of losing 5 or 6 drones. But in terms of upgrades, I believe Dario already finished Carapace, and now will be about to be 1-1 with the melee upgrades finishing in a couple of seconds. So I don't know if Major will be able to do that much damage. He's not pushing through right now.
A couple of overlords would be nice now, because I think TLO is going to be forced to produce quite a few units soon, and he's getting awfully close to being supply blocked. And this is also that moment when Stim finishes up, and there is a good chance that Major is going to march across the map. So Bailing Speed has been fired up immediately, which I'm very happy to see. He even burrowed Bailings, perhaps. I love it, creativity, but I don't want to get carried away. First, TLO needs to defend this first push properly, and that's already going to be hard because there's a lot of micro potential in this army.
Okay, auto turret has been used in the bottom to actually pull the army away. I believe that's a Doom drop, but he used Ignite Afterburner quite a bit early. I believe those minivacs could have been earlier. The targeting has been missed, and that's already a couple of Marines dying. And TLO still defends like a god.
Wow, and the Raven does get away with 4 HP, but that was uncharacteristic sloppy, I'd say, by Major, not connecting with that single Bane. One Bailing there gets a good connection as well with these Marines. Man, TLO's looking incredibly good so far. This is going to be a rough game, I think, for Major.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking at 66 drones, and once again, one attack is going to go to the third, but there's a couple of aliens here that will stop this attack. Still no centrifugal hook, so I don't think that he wants to fight outside of Creek.
He doesn't have to. He's on 4 bases. He's got 2 upgrades on the way. Whoa. Okay.
He actually moved to the side. I don't know what it was, but maybe messed up a little bit, but worked in the end for him. A couple of Banelings for about 8 Marines, I believe. He also has that burrow we mentioned. But it's been scouted.
The Raven with 4 HP.
4 HP, a Raven. Come on.
Come on, Queen, show up. Spire is almost done, though. TLO is going to try to buy a little bit of time, cutting off reinforcements with his Zerglings. I like that move a lot. Yes. Major has picked up a couple of units that he's going to send towards the main base, but there are spores in position as well. These Lings, even though they're not achieving that much, they're buying a little bit of time, and that's nice. Oh, this medevac being miscontrolled. Look at that spore. The Dream, yes, it does get it.
He does get it with a spore here. I don't know if there was like a really, really bad shift click or something, but he was clearly not paying attention that was a free medevac. Those Banelings, they do have speed now. He could want to take the fight now. He knows. And that Raven is still here.
That Raven needs to die.
Yeah. That 4 HP Raven going for some Mutalisks right now, so TLO believes that he can handle spending 800 and 800 gas, 800 minerals and 800 gas in Mutalisks right now.
3 Marines in that bunker, that's going to be enough, as that bunker is protected by those supply depots as well. I'm very impressed with the way that TLO is playing so far, and I really think, you know, the Dream would have been even more alive if he was able to connect with a couple of those burrowed Banelings. I really like the idea of his build. Unfortunately, this Raven is just shutting it down. It would be awesome for TLO if these Mudas or the Queens could just shut it down.
Oh, that's a lot of Banelings in this. There's a Widow Mine here. He knows about it. It's connected with a couple of Zerglings earlier, but I don't know that if he remembers. Those Mutalisks will shut down that medevac, that's for sure. Yeah, one dead medevac. Oh my god, just move away from this.
I don't want to see it. That's like a car accident waiting to happen. No, he's still rolling around here. No!
What is he doing?
No!
Oh, now he's stuck. And
he's forced to fight, but he's actually gonna get some decent connections, perhaps.
Yeah. I guess it's better to fight and actually trade against units than going back onto that Widow Mine and losing everything at the same time. This was a really good trade, and 2-2 finishing was actually part of this.
Oh, this fort is pretty exposed, and obviously it's being built, so it can be repaired right now. Bailey's going to connect as well, and that's a massive shot down. I'm going to get a cancel on that one. That's great.
The Raven is gone, so there's going to be some potential for some burrowed Bailing action next into this game. TLO is producing a lot of units, and he has his rally points onto the 4th of the Major. We'll try to go with all those Zerglings and Mutalisks, but he has to go back a little bit.
Did the Raven finally die?
Yeah, it's dead. It's dead.
All right, so now it's going to be tricky as well. Major on just 3 CCs. It's going to have to be very careful. I love these Widow Mines, by the way. They've been getting a lot of connections, and also gives a little bit of map vision, of course. Wow, 15 kills on that one.
Yeah, that's a great Widow Mine.
Getting a kill on the fort is so big, right?
Yeah, it is. Like, he can still lift off that main orbital and get a 4th, but obviously having a 4th, real 4th CC, that would be really, really better and great for Major, but at the moment he doesn't have it, and he tries to push on towards the map. He gets liberated to the bottom side, but he will get shut down by those Mutalisks and TLO.
5 bases, that's crazy.
Yeah, he needs to stop the greed and produce units now.
He's got another kill on a full meta, on Liberator, I think that was. It was not a medevac, it was a Liberator this time. But starting +3 armor now as well. He's shutting this down, TLO keeping his 5th hatchery alive, while Major is once again going to make an attempt to get his fort base up and running.
Just do something about it, we don't mind. Please, TLO is going to lose so many Zerglings right here.
7.
It could have been worse. Could have been worse. The Mutalisks will find an opening into the main. Is there any
no turrets
here?
at all.
Nothing.
Oh, he's going to go for the E-base. That would be such a big pick-off. No 3-3 for this bio. That would be massive.
+3 attack could get cancelled. And Major is not looking at it. He will get shut down. Denied. +3 infantry. Can he get the armor? He will get it, I believe.
Now basically all he has to do is just defend. But TLO is supply blocked though, and it's a very bad moment to be supply blocked because Major could potentially just had enough. Oh, we are going to see some Burrow Bailing play. It's awesome to see TLO play such a fantastic game. He does have to clean up this drop in the
Burrow Bailing! Oh, he doesn't see it!
Flashbacks of Moon.
Oh, I almost died here. Okay.
Major supply is very high at the moment, and he's everywhere at once.
And that's a bad feeling for TLO. He could have gotten so much bio out of this game, and now Bailing's actually connected with Marauders. That's not what he wants. And
there are still those Bailings on the left side. The Bailings, TLO.
Okay.
Oh my God, Dario, creativity.
Nice here. And 82 army supply against 72. Can he roll on with this game right here? Look at the map. There's units coming from every side, and he will try to finish this with 3-3 finishing in about 40 seconds. He can wait a little bit, I believe.
TLO so far ahead of the meta. He saw those first connections. He's like, that's not good enough.
Not enough.
I want more. And
that's
he got
nothing.
he got more. There are ultras on the way now. Drilling claws being researched for Major, who did rebuild one of his E-base, so he's going to start +3 attack again. Actually, he rebuilt both, but he hasn't started +3 army yet. He's probably very satisfied with how these mines have been doing this ridiculous.
Oh my God.
30 kills. Please, kill it with Banes.
Kill it with fire. Kill it with acid, I believe. With some Banelings here. I don't know. He's going to wait for chitinous plating, and 3 Ultralists will be out, but that 4th base has been replaced. It hasn't lifted the first orbital. He actually has a planetary fortress that could play a role in this game.
He got the mine.
Finally!
Does he get the mine on the north side as well? Oh, he's being replaced.
Yeah, he's got another one.
Look at this Ultra. It's like, what are you going to do? You do nothing.
I don't care, mate. I'm an Ultralisk. I can take it. No problem. And now, chitinous plating and +3/+3. How often do you see a Zerg player with better upgrades in ZVT? Just go with it, TLO. He needs to finish this. Try and get a fight in the middle of the map.
Because let's not forget that the yellow submarine has been running at this planetary fortress.
Yeah.
A lot of news have been dropped. Let's take a look at the income graph over the last 2 minutes of this game. I mean, TLO is damn rich as well, but you can even see right now, just with that 4th base alone, Major has been taking a lead. So he's able to crank out a crazy amount of units. This is a questionable fight.
Run by to the north. I don't believe there was any bailing here. That Widowmine dealing a tremendous amount of damage on those Zerglings, but that Ultralisk will be a different fight for those Marines. Even the bunker will fall here. And what does he go for? Does he go for economy? Tries to trade with those Marines and Marauders. Obviously, Major will try to micro a little
big
bit.
Daddy Ultra.
Yeah. Don't mess with this guy. Oh, nice. The Mutal is actually finding an opening in the main, and getting the reactor would be so great.
Bailing's going to connect as well with all these SCVs, and that's a dead mineral line. There's Ultras everywhere. There's Mutas in the main, and I think that Dr. Dario has done it.
TLO for Germany will seal the deal and get his team qualified for the semifinals. Mutal is to the 4th. No defense, and Ultra is finishing the game. GG!
This man makes no sense. Funka, he makes no sense. Sometimes we watch Dario and everyone just face palms and makes silly things like, what are we watching? And then suddenly, next level Dario shows up and you're watching some of the coolest and most creative Zerg play out there. Fantastic game from start to finish. He shut down everything. I love the Burrowed Bailings, obviously. Smooth connections and transitions. Kept expanding. Awesome game.
It was great. Like the way he defended every single attack, like the minimap awareness you mentioned. He's a really quick player in general. Like even canceling the tumors that were about to be shut down. The mutas coming in. There's the Burrowed Baneling. And the thing is, I was expecting only those Marines, but those other ones, oh my God, this is just beauty.
Yeah, it is. He set it up a while ago. Obviously, these Banelings. The ending was perfect too. I mean, it's Mutas in the main. It was Big Daddy Ultra cleaning up the defenses there at first, making the path free for those Banes to roll in. And then he was in the natural as well with more Ultralisk. I mean,
Mutal is to the 4th.
Yeah, everything. Everywhere at once. TLO, this is TLO in a nutshell. Loses to Zhuge in a pretty ugly ZVZ. Plays a fantastic ZVT against a man that's been dominating almost everybody that came on his path, Major. Dr. Dario. We'll never understand him, but we'll forever love him.
Oh, that's for sure. And Germany takes it 4-2, as you can see. Sham actually opening pretty well for Mexico, getting the first win against Hero Marine. And then the Showtime show, I guess, doesn't sound really good, but I will go for it anyways. 3 wins in a row for the German Protoss, winner in Tour this year, or in 2016. And then Major, and the potential comeback, you know?
And this is a very big win as well for TLO, because Map 7, Major against Showtime one more time. There are no guarantees whatsoever. I mean, that's just a very close match. It's very hard to call. Obviously, Showtime could have done it, but Major could have very well done it as well for Mexico.
I
so
agree.
this is a win that's as big as they come in nation-wise. This format, this is like where it shines, and seeing a player like TLO close it out here for Germany, very much so looking forward to seeing what he has to say.
Just a great sight, and just, you know, in general, wanting that victory for Major originally against Showtime made us that we could witness this game against TLO, and yeah, I just love it, man. I'm really happy with it. And as you mentioned, this was like the kind of best of 7 that you expect with 2 teams that have a little bit of depth, right? Trading games, you've got the best player obviously taking those 3 wins, and then, the other great player from the other team starts to make a tiny bit of a comeback, and that's the moment you need to shut it down. And that's what TLO did. Super important victory, as you said.
Absolutely. So once again, congratulations to Germany for advancing to the semifinals. Let's take a look at all the other nations that made it to the semifinals. Once again, the semifinals and the finals will be played on January 21st. Poland versus Canada is going to be our first semi, and the second one is going to be Germany versus Korea. Those are some pretty damn exciting potential matches.
Oh yeah. Really excited about this. It's going to happen on the 21st of January, so in 2 weeks. But you'll get a lot of time, you know, to get a lot of time, you know, to enjoy those games. Maybe watch the matches that you haven't seen on VOD and get excited for Poland, Canada, and then Germany, Korea. Those matches will be super, super sick, obviously.
Creme de la creme.
La creme de la creme.
Of the Starcraft 2 nations. It was a lot of fun, very fun day. A couple of surprising results. A couple of the matches we had high hopes of were a little more one-sided than we thought it was going to be. Take a look at these final predictions. No one was right. That's not a surprise, but Zombie Grub and Ruddy were more right than Funka and Todd.
Obviously. No, yeah. I had faith in Mexico, and with that first game going the way of Sham, I was like, yeah, I knew it, boys, you know. And Showtime definitely shutting it down, and TLO just seizing the opportunity to show that he can produce those great games and also do super well for his country. So.
I'm really happy. Often I feel like the last few matches that you cast, that kind of leaves you with a certain feeling for the rest of the evening, right? Like you look back at the day as a caster, but this was the perfect way to end today's show.
Last couple of games, man.
You know, like if we would have ended with, obviously no disrespect, but let's say like Neve versus Scarlet, like those are some pretty one-sided matches. You know, you hype it up and you hope it's exciting, but then Scarlet is just too dominant. He's just too good at the moment. Instead, we end up with a fantastic game between Major and Showtime, followed up by a perhaps even better game with TLO and Major. Very fun way to end today's broadcast.
We got lucky, Roddy. I can say that, like finishing on this great best of 7.
We said it as well before we started casting the break. Let's end on a high note. Well, we needed a little bit of help, but the players definitely delivered. That was a lot of fun. Team Germany is ready, so I can't wait to hear what they have to say. Guys, it's all you.
Thank you very much, guys. Great casting, and what a great match this was here.
Yes.
And sick ending. A lot of people here are shouting.
Yeah,
and I think we're happy that Germany put an end to this.
Dude, once the Banelings got that hit, like, seriously, it was deafening in the O Gaming studio. Everyone was so excited. I'm super excited that TLO was able to take it. All people, I think everyone assumed that Showtime was going to be the guy at the end, Game 7, but it was TLO.
I don't think we could rank that play as creative, but it was definitely impressive. So let's hear from the guys themselves. Congratulations, guys. TLO.
Thank you.
That was sick, man.
Thanks.
Glad to see you pull your weight in this match. How were you feeling going through it, especially when there were times where it was looking like it was quite scary, like he had more army supply, quite a bit more, but you finally got that Baneling bomb that you had been waiting for?
Well, I was surprised people were writing that I had 30 supply less at some point because I felt in control the entire game. But I guess I powered really hard getting the 3-3 super quickly, and that actually kills me a bunch of times because I just want too much too quickly sometimes. But I wasn't worried in that game. Like, after I defended the Hellions and the Raven and then had a little bit of a run by and kept him back, I was pretty confident I'm going to take the game.
Yeah, there's that moment where you pushed into the 4th base on the map, and like I think that's when you were at the lowest supply ever, and that was a little bit scary. But obviously, I guess you didn't actually feel that scared. That was a super, super excellent game. I'm really glad the Baneling bombs worked out. Like, I don't know, did you think that you would be able to take it, or are you just thinking like, okay, I'm gonna try my best, but I'm depending on showtime?
I mean, you know, I think I can, if I play ladder, I can beat pretty much anybody. You know, it's just sometimes when I play matches, I kind of choke. But I don't go in the match against any American or European thinking I don't have a chance, you know?
Oh, well, that means that you go into a match versus Koreans and think that.
Not necessarily, but there, I mean, maybe innovation, you know, somebody like that.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Hero Marine, you didn't have the most success today in this match. What do you think went wrong for you?
I think it wasn't the correct choice to send me out first because I feel like Jam is actually pretty good and he played a fantastic game there. So, yeah, I was feeling very confident to win against the first player if it's a Zerg. But I feel like he played that map very well and, yeah, it's not my favorite map, so therefore I lost, I guess.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, we underestimated Chem a little bit. He almost beat Showtime as well. Like, he really played fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, Showtime. That game against Major on Overgrowth was so sick, man. Nico, sorry. That was so insane. Like, again, we see you use Colossus, Disruptor, and High 10 Plus together, and then you almost made it work. What do you think went wrong for you, and how are you so good managing all of these very difficult units to micro together? Like, how do you even group these units?
I just have like 3 different groups for the units, like High Templar and Disruptor, and different control groups, and then the rest of the army. I think like in the game on Echo, I couldn't really get up my 4th base ever, and eventually I got like Liberator range out and I didn't have a target yet, so I just like sieges up my bases and I can't mine anymore. So I kind of had like one big army which was pretty strong, but it's hard to push into a Liberator range, so I had to like kind of outmaneuver him, or try to at least, and I think it worked for some time, but eventually I just ran out of steam because I couldn't like warp in more Stalkers to keep pushing, because I just like ran out of Stalkers, and against the Liberator defense I couldn't do anything then.
If TLO had not beat Major, who would have come out as revived players? Were you guys talking about this already?
Well, we kind of just default to Showtime, I think.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
For Showtime, do you have actually any thoughts about, I guess, it's kind of a loaded question, but PVT as a matchup? I'm asking because, of course, you guys are facing South Korea next, who has very strong Terran. So are you actually confident versus Terran, or are you feeling the Liberator burn?
Let me translate this. Are you ready to beat Bjorn again, like at BlizzCon?
Like since the patch, my win rate has been kind of bad against Terran, to be honest, and I think it's pretty Terran favored right now. So I'm not really super confident. Like recently, I've started going back to my old style, like the Disruptor, High Templar, Colossus, but I don't know. It's pretty hard to win against Terran these days. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see then, I guess.
I think South Korea showed that they can lose. Clearly, they lost a match as well already in the tournament. They dropped maps here and there. Are you guys going to study them hard and do some special training in order to make sure you can do your best against them and maybe take them out? Anyone?
Personally, I got like WSG coming up first, so I'm going to play that, and I'm not sure how much time there actually is to prepare then for Nation Wars, but I think I'm going to do like some research on innovation in Pian, and yeah, hope for the best pretty much.
I don't think it'll be impossible for us to beat them if we prepare well. I'll definitely put some work into that as well.
Is it just innovation and beyond that you're worried about, or does Zest, now that he's gotten a 4-0 finally under his belt, worry you guys again, or are you just like, nah, Zest is fine?
Zest is pretty good, I would say. Like he has a weakness against Terran right now, but his PvP and PvC is still really, really strong. But since he's not streaming and he's out of GSL now, there's not much to study from him, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Normally, it's always the Korean Terran players that are the most scary Koreans, you know. So playing against Korean Protosses or Zergs, personally, I feel more comfortable against them. But the Korean Terrans are like very scary.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's
guys.
always been that way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations once again. We'll see you in 2 weeks over in Paris. If you have any last shout-outs, now is the time. And Hero Marine, you can go first.
I mean, I'm very happy to advance. Thanks to TLO and Showtime for winning the matches today. I'm obviously going to practice hard for the upcoming match in Paris. And yeah, let's see how it goes. But I think we have actually good chances.
Yeah, and thanks for carrying me earlier in the other matches. And I'll be back streaming tomorrow. So for people that are interested in that, I'll probably try to stream 6 hours in 2-3 hour segments. So just look on Twitter and a big shout out just to my team because my teammates always keep me motivated. And you know, I haven't had great results in 2016, but because of Snoot, Yuthel, Mana, Bunny. Even Red still nowadays, and Shinro and a lot of the old players, you know, people always keep me motivated, and I think 2017 is going to be pretty all right.
Not much to say from my side. Just a good match, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. And see you in Paris.
Was your father watching?
Oh yeah, both my parents are watching.
Oh, nice. All right. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
What nice guys. Really looking forward to their games against South Korea. That's going to be in 2 weeks once again, Saturday the 21st. Make sure you mark that date on your calendar. Perhaps we can take one more look at the brackets to remind you guys of the matches that are going to be coming up. That's going to be Poland versus Canada and Germany versus Korea. All of the players are going to be playing live here from the O Gaming studio, which I think will make for a great setup. And I'm sure it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I think both of these matches can be really good. I think, of course, Scarlet carrying Canada and ZVZ looking good for Poland. That's going to be an interesting matchup. But Germany versus Korea, I am so excited about. I think if they just, as they said, I guess, worry and practice against the Korean Terrans, Germany can absolutely take it.
They got 2 weeks to practice for it. And I cannot wait. It's going to be really good. But until then, that's us saying goodbye. Thanks to you guys for tuning in. Once again, thanks to our sponsor Blizzard here for helping make this happen. Thanks to O Gaming and everybody who commentated, observed, helped with the catering, helped with everything, came to watch here the games live. So that's us for now saying goodbye live from Paris, and we'll see you next time on January the 21st.